Hey, hi guys. Okay, I'm doing an audio test real quick. We're live. What's up? Hey guys. Does that sound alright? Does it sound a bit low?
Is it just coming out of your computer
No,
speaker?
yeah, no, I'm asking the chat. Shut up, Paul. You're not on camera yet. Know your turn. Know your place. Okay, as people can tell, now there's someone on with me. Okay, let me know if that's... Yeah. It's a bit quiet. Oh, okay. See, now you ruined the surprise. You have Jay in the chat saying, "Hey, Paul." He's laughing.
Hey,
Yo, Paul. Oh, hi, Martina. Greetings from Chile. Oh, how fun. Okay, let me see if I can turn up the audio.
It's pronounced Chile.
Chile. Whatever.
I don't fucking know.
I do it really like Americanized sometimes. I'm like, whatever. Okay, let me.
It's one of my.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of my major pet peeves when Americans put an extra accent on foreign words. My cousin did a month in Italy for like an art program, and when she came back, she was like working Italian words into English sentences. Like she was like, "We were late for the bus, so we had to get there like pronto," and I'm like, "What?
Pronto."
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Okay. Anyway.
There she goes.
Little intro here. I am sick. I had the flu. I don't know if I had coronavirus. I don't think I did because I had like the really runny nose. It's not really one of the symptoms. And I had a productive cough, which is not really one of the symptoms. And also, one of the symptoms are loss of smell and taste. And I had my smell and taste about me. So I don't think I had it. But it was like death. I swear to God. I was like... I wasted a week of my life, like, just in my bed, and I didn't even accomplish anything in my bed, because, like, you can get shit accomplished in your bed, you know, like, your laptop, you can just, like, lay around, and you're just like, yeah, fuck that, you know, just, like, you can eat. I mean, I have a queen-size bed, okay, so that thing is, like, you can, like, lay things out and still have a good night's sleep, but, anyway, yeah, I didn't do shit for, like, a week, because I was, like, death's door, so I'm still... feeling it a little bit, but that's why I haven't been around. Yeah. And then, I don't know, Paul. This is my friend Paul. I've known him since like 2016. You're on the screen now. Now they can see you, Paul.
The surprise is ruined. Hi, everybody. It's me, the mystery friend.
Yeah.
Booga, booga, booga.
Yeah, so I was going to let them know. Okay, now I'm split screening it. Okay. Yeah, now you're in the middle. You just have your big head in the picture. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, go. Yeah, that's better when you turn back a bit. No, now it's a light switch. Now we're doing a light switch stream. No, Paul, I've known Paul since like 2016 election time. That was kind of when we met, and we decided to do a late night stream because I don't know if you want to get into it, Paul, but basically, I had a gig, and sometimes I like to, hire Paul to help me around, drive me around, and do stuff with me. It's always nice to have an assistant of sorts when my muscle.
Chimp.
Yeah, you know.
You were threatening to get me sick, and I don't get sick.
Yeah, it's
like,
nice.
you want to be locked in a confined space with me for like the better part of 4 hours while I cough on you, and I'm like, I don't care how productive the fucking cough is. I'm not gonna be in that fucking cough.
Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of fucked it up because that he called off work so that he could help me out for the day, and then when I got sick, I couldn't do the gig, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm sorry, Paul. Like I was trying to like kind of help you out and hang out with you, and like maybe like. It's always nice to make money when you're, like, having fun, you know? So it's, like, New Year's Eve, shit like that. I used to, like, go and work, and I would make, like, $1,000 in one night. And I'm doing the same thing everyone else is doing, partying, you know? But I'm getting paid. So it's always fun to just, like, hang out and have a good night out. And since we fucked that up and I don't make any money... I was like, well, fuck it, let's just do a late night stream, and, we'll see what donations come in, and maybe we can, like, make our money back from
Jesus,
from the
Martina,
flu.
don't tell these people the truth. But
What? No, that's what you gotta do.
You know what?
This
I
is...
can't believe I got Paul Bazile on my stream. filmmaker, cultural commentator.
No, we will get there, Paul. We will get there. We got 2 hours. These people need an intro. They're just like, who the fuck is this guy? What does Martina do? I don't have people on that often, so I'm explaining. I'm like, yes, I'm streaming. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. People are like, what the fuck time is it? It's 1 in the morning. Yeah, I'm streaming because I was supposed to have a gig tonight, and because I had the flu, it got fucked up. So I said, Paul, let's do it. Let's just do a fucking chit chat late night stream. This is what's happening. But yeah, for a little bit more information on Paul, yeah, we're both like in the artsy crew and non-SJW artsy people. Paul's worked on some documentaries before, some films. Am I saying that right? Do I say documentary weird?
This is how it's pronounced in English.
How is it?
Documentaries.
Documentaries.
How it's pronounced in English.
Documentary.
I don't know how they say it in Brooklyn.
Documentary? Documentary.
I didn't invent this word.
I don't know, but I think I say it funny, and people have said I say it funny. So I don't know. I just want to know from the professional filmmaker how you say documentary. Documentary. You document.
That grammar lesson, people. Come on, we're teaching you how to say documentary in English. Documentary. I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody who's going to correct me and say it,
But that's not how you spell it. Documentary. You're documenting. I don't know. It's a documentary. I don't know. Whatever.
We're Americans. We pay our taxes. We don't give a fuck how it's spelled. It's documentary.
Paul's voice is very quiet. Really?
Oh,
fucking hell. I think it's because it's coming out of the speaker. Maybe let me turn up the speaker. Okay, now talk, Paul.
Hello.
Okay, that's louder. Yeah. Okay. There you go. I think you got Paul better. They asked for it. They said Paul's voice isn't loud enough. Well, okay.
It'll get there. Fucking relax.
You're gonna hear Paul's voice plenty in this stream. So
let's start talking about the flat tax. It'll get loud.
The flat tax? What?
We're not talking about the flat tax today.
Yeah, no, but we had a few things we wanted to talk about. We can get into your history. Yeah, I said, like, yeah, tell us about your documentaries. And,
This is worse than how my girlfriend pronounces the name of her car, which is Mitsubishi, and she pronounces it every single time like Mitsubishi, and I'm like, what? And she says it like that's the way it is, right? Mitsubishi. And I'm like, no, not even a little. Like, it's on the commercial. Mitsubishi. That's all you have to say. Mitsubishi? Oh, like, no.
That's cute. I like it.
So what? You want me to tell people who I am?
Yeah.
They know who I am. The legend, bearded justice himself, has come onto the live stream. No, I've known Martina since 2016. For all you people documenting this for historical purposes, write all that down. That's important. Around election time, we met, and I've been a documentary filmmaker for the last 12 to 15 years. I did a music documentary years ago called Living the American Nightmare, which was about a guy who sang for the Misfits for one summer. There's a punk band called the Misfits, for anyone who doesn't know, and they're a legendary punk band from New Jersey, and I got in touch with a bunch of the guys, and I followed around this guy named Mike Hideous, who was like this dude. It was his dream to sing in the Misfits specifically his whole life. He sang for a summer, and it ruined his whole life. So I thought that was an interesting concept, because there's so many people who are musicians, and once they get to where they want, they're still not happy with their life. So I made a film about that, and the notation that film got attention for was it was the last ever interview with legendary bassist and vocalist for the goth metal band Typo Negative, Peter Steele, the Green Man. We went to his house in Scranton, Pennsylvania, spent a day with him, and he literally is one of the coolest human beings I've ever met in my life, and he was promising us to, do all this stuff. He wanted to go do all this extra work and promotion and help us get more guests and all this other stuff, and then he dropped dead of a heart attack.
Wow.
Because I am the Sicilian black cloud of misery, the Maloik that just comes into the town and rains curse blackness and lightning and despair upon all the people. So
Just
unfortunately,
that
I
word.
think being near me gives people a heart attack for some reason. And unfortunately, the legend Peter Steele was part of that, was part of my casualty list. One of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. Loved women, loved music, could talk about anything, and had a sense of humor like an old vaudevillian, and would constantly, in the interview, stop the interview to set me up with a joke and just say something like, next question, ask me about porn and sports. And I'd go, I don't even know. What about porn and sports? And he'd be like, porn and sports, I'm glad you asked me that. And he'd go on to like a one-liner that he had prepared for the interview that had nothing to do with the interview, and he was just amazing. So I did that, and then I moved on to politics. Actually, it was after I listened to anybody out there, please respond if you listen to Hardcore History, the podcast with Dan Carlin. He did one great one about Munich, about the the Munster Rebellion in Germany back in, I believe, the 1400s. And they said that the only first-hand account they have is someone who got it, because he thought to him, this is the most important or interesting thing that I have witnessed in my lifetime. Nobody's documented it. I should document it. So when I saw that Trump was gaining momentum, I was still doing like writing for music mags and some interviews here and there with bands and stuff like that, but I wasn't feeling it anymore. I was over it. And if you've ever dealt with musicians, you understand why you'd be over it pretty quickly. And I thought to myself, I wrote an article about why Trump is the most punk rock candidate that we've ever had, and it got a great reception because this is before Trump derangement syndrome. So people were like, yeah, this is cool how you kind of angled it like this, and yeah, you made some good points. And I thought, the Trump thing might be the most interesting thing that ever happens in my lifetime. I should start doing cultural commentary and talking about politics. So I did that, and people proceeded to set my career on fire forever.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was fired from my day job that I had the day after the election, immediately. Like, I came to work, and because before that, it was a joke, and it was, Paul has this weird, funny thing with Trump where he thinks he's going to win, and he's such an idiot. And when he won, I showed up, and the manager at the bar I worked at got right in my face, like nose to nose, like we were going to fight, and told me to leave. So,
right. Yes, so
it didn't exactly go down like that, but that's the abridged version of the story.
Yeah, so basically, filmmaker, you're definitely into punk rock. I mean, people were asking, what's that on your shirt? You can tell by your
Saint Sideshow, it's my Charlie's Angels shirt with Charles Manson and the Manson Girls.
Cool.
And Andy Gore makes these. He's awesome. Johnny Ramone used to wear this shirt back in the day, and I'm very proud of it.
Nice. Yeah, so, punk rock scene, I guess. Wait, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know. Music?
I used to do music punk rock,
shit.
And honestly, it was a natural, and I think you know this from your art and stuff like that it's sort of a more natural than you think progression from doing counterculture punk rock to getting into the modern conservative movement. Because literally, if you're into freedom of speech and if you're into freedom of expression, you have no place else to go unless you want to be locked in absolute boring leftist with boring leftist concepts.
Yeah.
You need to go, you know what? I guess I'm conservative now.
Well, that's why, I remember being backstage and there was a friend of mine that worked on crew, and it was things, so this is the part where you're talking about where you went back into, so basically Paul decided, he thinks that the whole Trump 2016 thing is interesting, so he took this filmmaking and all his stuff into kind of focusing on that and kind of following that around, and it fucked his life up. So similar to your situation of going back to the restaurant after, Trump. Well, actually, this was before Trump got elected. Yeah, so before he got elected, people were new in the theater that I was pro-Trump, but it wasn't as triggering because no one thought he was going to win, right? So I remember one of the guys on crew who was still okay with me despite being a Trump supporter, but he would try to debate me about stuff, and he would say, but how can you be a Republican? You're an artist. And I was like, yeah, that's why I can be a Republican, why I am one, because, like, artists, you can't put them in a box. Like, I belong in a box. Like, I'm supposed to be a certain package. Like, that's so anti-artist. Like, I don't understand, like, why. And he was like, oh, that's true, you know? I'm like, we're also, like, independent contractors, you know? Like, we have to pay out of our own, you know, our taxes out of our own, like, income. It doesn't, like, get taken out of our paycheck, you know? When you're self-employed, and you're an artist and you're a performer, like, that's how you handle business. Like, most of the time, like, people that are self-employed are, like, fiscally conservative, you know? And it's like, goddamn taxes, you know? And
we won't get too far down the political end of the rabbit hole, but
yeah,
here's the thing. Everybody who's like, you know, punk rock has to be liberal. It's like, okay, so the guy whose t-shirt I'm wearing, Andy Gore, he made it originally, or I guess it was worn originally by Johnny Ramone. Johnny Ramone was a hardcore conservative.
Really?
He was a Republican.
Isn't like Zappa or something, like very like anti what is it called? Anti with the whole like labeling music, like,
Frank Zappa, John Denver, and somebody in the chat help me out. Why can't I remember his name? Twisted Sister, the guy from Twisted Sister, were the three main people who fought against the PMRC. The PMRC was the Parents Music Resource Center in the 80s. They're the people who marred your album collection with the parental advisory sticker on it. And those three people were the musicians who had the balls to stand up. And keep in mind, John Denver was included in that, who personally, I will love that man forever, for actually saying, hey, listen, I don't write any songs that you'd ever
They're
want to
saying
censor.
Dean Snyder in the
Dean Snyder, thank you, yes. So they showed up and they fought against hardcore conservative Republicans such as Tipper Gore, such as Joseph Lieberman, all these Democrats and wives of Democrats who were doing everything they could to get music. Because keep in mind, this was during the Satanic Panic. This was during the time where music was still dangerous. Music isn't dangerous anymore. You could write a song called Wet Ass Pussy, and everyone just goes, hey, you know what you ought to do? You ought to interview the vice president. What? But it's like, back in the day, it's like you wrote about the devil and you dressed like a lady, and that was shocking, and that was amazing, and that was, oh my God. And I think the big problem with liberals is they live in the past, and conservatives are often accused of living in the past. But I think that liberals are always, they think that it's 1962 all the time. And they think that, like, if they do something sexual, they're really blowing people's minds.
Right.
It's like doing something that's been done 1,000 times before. They think if they say a curse word, they're really going against the system. It's like, hey, we have a president who says curse words now.
Right,
like,
yeah. No, yeah, so in the comments too, someone was saying, funny, I was just thinking about the parental advisory early today. That's what it was. I think Zappa, or is it Zappa? Who's really he's really anti, like, the parental advisory. Like,
he always called himself a conservative. Now, that's been debated because people were like, well, he actually was a liberal because he supported Democrats more than Republicans. But here's the thing that I love about Donald Trump and why anyone who says if you're counterculture, you can't be conservative, Republican. And I'm uncomfortable calling myself a Republican because I don't really fall lockstep with Republican everything. Like, people who are Republican today, or even a lot of people who call themselves conservative, are fighting to prove to everybody online that they're the most conservative. I'm against weed. I'm against everything.
Well, listen, all those people that are like, you know, trad LARPing, super conservative LARPing online, it's like, you're not conservative enough. I mean, you guys were like marching for like Black Lives Matter, or you were in like elementary school when I was like a Republican. I get it. I was a neocon, whatever, but like I kind of was like more Alex Jonesy, but like did vote Republican when I did vote. Because I felt like that was more my slant, you know. And then libertarian when it was more, 2001, 2008, what's his name? The libertarian, Ron Paul. Like, libertarian types. I didn't really get too much into libertarian once he kind of stopped running. And then they went down kind of more, they became more liberal in time, actually.
I definitely, now, if like I take surveys or whatever to say, what are you really? It turns out I'm a constitutional conservative. And apparently that means I'm a far-right extremist, according to some leftist publications. Because I say things like the Constitution's good, we should stick to our system of laws, and we should also, our system of laws is designed to give you the max amount of freedom, and we should take advantage of that. The problem with Republicans for decades was Republicans were pigeonholed as the stuffy people who want to, make their gay son straight, and people who have a problem with anyone who isn't them. And the words that kept coming up were judgmental and close-minded. I remember that when I was young. And even when I was young, I was more conservative, I guess, than liberal. But stupid things like porn. I wasn't like going on an anti-porn tangent. Things like smoking weed. Now, by the way, I've never had a sip of alcohol in my life. I've never smoked weed in my life. I've never done a drug in my life. But I've always been like, well, what's wrong with making weed legal? I don't get it. Once I understood what weed was when I was about 17, and that it wasn't like crack, I was like, well, smoke weed, whatever. Well, Trump, I feel like, brought those people who were like, I don't give a shit if gay guys get married. I don't give a crap about people who smoke weed. He brought those people and basically said, hey, it's okay for you to vote Republican again. And we're not going to judge you and this and that. Now, there's a lot of, I call them the noob right, the people who just became right last 20 and they charge everything. Those people are the ones who are like, weed is horrible. Why? Because all their friends fucking smoke weed. All the guys getting laid at the party smoke weed or whatever, and they're mad about it. Instead of just going, well, you do your thing, I'll do mine, but this is how I feel about it. That's how I've always been. People now, their whole thing is they have to have a crusade against whatever it is, which is the very thing that the left does.
Right.
And it's the very thing that made people, young people, run screaming from the right to begin with. Because they said, I'm tired of being judged for who I am, or if I have tattoos, or if I have funny hair, or whatever. And I think that now, the thing is, the liberals are stuck in a time warp where they think it's like, I don't know, like 1962 or 1978 or something, and they think that nonconformity ends with hair dye. They think that once you dye your hair, you're finished. I'm a free thinker. Look, my hair's pink. What do you think of that? And it's like, I don't know, every basic bitch that I see walking down the street dyes her hair fucking purple and pink and green, and nobody seems to bat an eye at them. You're not shocking anyone. The way to shock people now is to literally say, you have to take responsibility for yourself. And you know what? And I'm okay with something not being completely safe if it means that people have more freedom. But what if that means people die? I guess I'm okay with people dying if it means we have more freedom. And I think that that's something that, the country was built on, give me liberty or give me death, is something you can't fucking say in an airport now without getting arrested. Which to me is fucking shocking. And to me, it's like, I don't know, I didn't think like quoting Patrick Henry would be the big rebellious thing that I'm doing in my 30s. But apparently it's like, yeah, if you just say, no, actually I think we have a really good country. And to bring it back to punk rock for a second, because I think this will interest you. Another big conservative punk rocker guy is Bobby Steele, who played guitar in the Misfits and another band called the Undead. He was the guy who really marinated all my ideas with contradictions of like leftism and this and that. Because here's a guy who is like one of the main badass dudes. He threw up on John Lennon, for fuck's sake. He has a huge history with awesome stuff. And he is a hardcore Republican. When I interviewed him, he was wearing a T-shirt that said Martin Luther King is a Republican. And he was telling me about how, he goes, people think money is the root of all evil. He's like, that's not true. Poverty is the root of all evil. Poverty means that people could control you because you don't have anything, and that means that they could give you a little something, and now you're under their thumb forever. If you have money, you have clout, and you can tell people to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, but also in poverty levels, when people kind of make shitty choices like steal or do something compromising because, well, they're in poverty. Like, that's why they had to steal or do something. And I mean, it's true. You get into like hood, gangs or whatever, because that's what's going on in poverty.
You're putting yourself in that bad position and one of the other things that we didn't even get into is I began working for Milo, and I later started working, and I now work with Gavin McInnes's website. And Milo paraphrases it by saying, stop being poor. And that is the biggest, everyone's head explodes when they hear something like that. But it's the same thing Bobby Steele was saying. He was like, stop being poor, go make money. He said that what ruined music, and everyone in the chat, please weigh in with your opinion. He says what ruined music was the fact that bands who were worth $2,000 a night started getting undercut by bands who said, well, we'll play here for $1,000. And they started getting undercut by bands who said, we'll pay here for $500. And then they started getting undercut by bands saying, we'll play here for free. And then they started getting undercut with bands saying, we'll pay to play. And now that essentially made every band worth nothing. Yeah. So basically Marxism and people saying, I don't do it for the money, ruined art and ruined music, because now people can't actually get money for what they do. Thank God for hip-hop actually bringing it back and saying, fuck you, pay me. I think that's brilliant, and that's what you should do. But most white suburban kids to this day, particularly if they come from a privileged background, are like ashamed to take money for their art. They feel like they're selling out. And it's like, no, man, if you're good at something, don't be afraid to take money for it, because you're undercutting not just yourself, but everybody around you. Yeah. If you're doing shit for free and you're good at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same in the performing scene, too. It's like, you always want to, like, try to be, what is it called? Like book the gig and be... I'm very passive, so I used to sell myself short a lot of the times because I wanted to really seem appealing to the client, but it was actually not doing me any favors. And once I kind of put my foot down and told my agent that I'm only doing gigs at a certain rate, it was like, oh, okay. And then all my gigs were that rate. I was like, oh my God. Like, I could have just been asking for more money. Like, I was trying to be nice, and I figured you'd offer me more money when I'm worth that, but I guess it doesn't work that way.
Isn't it amazing how that works, though?
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden you say, I'm worth more than that, and then everybody does it. And guess what you accidentally did? And this is capitalism at work. What you accidentally did was you made that guy who hired you go, well, I guess this is what it costs to hire a girl like that. So all the other girls around you that didn't get picked, later on, they'll end up getting paid more too, where everybody's rate goes up, because now if you're doing something for $100, then now you demand $500 for it. Now that's what they pay.
Yeah, well, I also realize how much I'm worth when I try to replace myself.
That's true too.
Because Paul has had experience trying to book a few me's for an event. We want to talk about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, anybody watching, the collection of slobs that we saw parading around the events that we booked was unprecedented.
We can talk about it, dude. We can talk about Lisa 2. I don't know their last names. Like, I don't know who these girls are.
Well, here's a controversial opinion. Working with a lot of women in my life, and I've managed restaurants in the past, I've bounced strip clubs, I've done a lot of different things. It has made me think one thought persistently. I don't think women, in general, belong in the workplace, because women do not give two fucks about canceling on you at the last minute. They will do that shit with extreme prejudice. They don't give two fucks about taking an unannounced 1 month long vacation. And when you're like, well, how am I supposed to replace you? They're just like, I don't know. I'm not working here for the next month is all I know. And you're like, great. They will call out sick if they just don't feel like coming into work that day. Yeah. I've watched this happen over and over again. And when we were trying to book a New Year's Eve gig, we had 3 girls lined up, and I want to say the day before, all 3 girls quit on us.
Right, so what was it? It was, I was living in D.C. at the time, and I was still getting booked in New York, and a really big events, like, good working days are like holidays. So most people vacation, that's when we work and make a lot of money. And so it's like holiday parties. What is it? New Year's Eve. So this was New Year's Eve, and I had a few bookings in New York. So basically, I booked myself somewhere in Brooklyn to do on my own, and then there was a place in Manhattan that wanted a variety of girls, and I supplied the girls, the costumes. It was like flapper girl outfits. I supplied everything. All I needed was just girls. I didn't even need talent. Okay, what I needed was a girl to be able to
put my bodies.
I needed a girl that looked
warm
halfway
bodies,
decent,
preferably with a vagina.
They needed to look halfway decent. Just put my costume on. Smile. Okay? Smile is really all you had to do. Drink champagne. Dance a little. Wave the feathers around. Take pictures with people. That's all you had to do was show up, put the costume on, and fucking smile. Pretty easy, right? So I was really busy, like, I don't know, focus on my gig, and then I don't know, I was working with Paul and I gave him
You were double booked. You had like
yeah, but I don't know, I was like I don't know why you were booking the girls too, like, no, 'cause normally I was doing it, but I was in DC, I was working another job, and Paul's like, listen, I'll help you out, I got this. Like, he went on Craigslist, he went around, he was like, I'll find you girls, whatever, fuck it, this is what I'm doing now, I'm finding you girls. So, what was it? You booked girls, and then, was it the day before or something? Like, girls canceled. So, this is the thing, too, about girls, is that, when I worked in catering, not performing catering, I worked with, like, this company, and they hired a lot of male models, I mean, because the owner was gay, but, he also said that girls are difficult to find, like, good female workers, because because we're all, like, models and stuff. And it was just a very convenient job for models. It just worked hand in hand with it. And but like the girls are really flaky. They like won't show up when they're confirmed for the gig. They're late. Like they're just really shitty. And so that's what we were experiencing. Oh shit, we got a donation. Oh, let that gift right out. Oh, let me read some of the super chats actually.
What happened?
Oh, nothing. Just
we were happy a minute ago. Then everything stopped.
Sorry.
Hell yeah, dollar bills, y'all.
Sorry,
Every time we get a donation, I will shout dollar bills, y'all. I promise. Dollar bills, y'all.
Look at us. Right. Look at us. Jay, screen cap this, okay? That was for you, Jay.
I'm doing the shocker. Fucking,
no, what was I saying? Yeah. Yeah, so then the girls...
You were talking about all the cancellations.
Yeah, and then so that's kind of what we were experiencing was booking random girls that because normally it's like I would book girls that like I know I have like my go-to girls, but some like I don't know what happened either. They were booked already. I mean, it's New Year's Eve. It's a big working day.
We had to put it together in like a week.
Yeah, and I was like in DC, and I was like this thing was in New York, and Paul kind of took it over, and that's what we were experiencing was like these random girls just like flaking last minute, and Paul was just like pulling his hair out like. Oh my god, I'm like, I know, it should be simple. Find girls.
Before that, because I remember this like fucking yesterday. The ad that I placed, the headline of the ad, the subject of the ad was like, beautiful, sexy, elegant, amazing looking women wanted, this is how much we're paying you. That was the headline.
Yeah.
And then all throughout the thing, you have to look good. We're looking for models. We're looking for this. We're looking for this. And here's the thing. And I've experienced the same thing working in a strip club as well. The ego on these women, the goals, the kuyu on these fucking women who go sexy, elegant, amazing.
That's me.
And they send you a dirty bathroom mirror selfie of their morbidly obese fucking body. Just like, and then you're just like, what? What, did you not read the headline? Did you not read any of this? And you go, okay, no. And then I got a dozen of those, of just, like, grotesquely overweight women who were, like, ridiculous looking, ghastly to behold. Like, if they were walking down the street, you would fucking hold your child a little closer. And those were the people responding to our ad. Through all that, I found 3 girls who seemed professional and experienced and great. And
they submit pictures, review
they
pictures.
sent pictures, they had video, they had resumes, they did legit work. They weren't just like some girl in their living room trying to make a few $100. So I was like, okay, we got these 3 girls. The day before, all 3 of the girls called and said, oh, I just took another gig, because women don't have that thing of like, well, I agreed to this.
Yeah, I committed to something.
I need to stick to
Dude,
it.
that was like a really bad issue that I had booking myself too, is that I would confirm a gig for a date, and when I had a better offer for something else, I felt that I already confirmed for the first thing. I couldn't take the other offer. And it ended up screwing me over with money when, like, any other girl would have said, fuck you to the first gig and just take the better offer. But I felt like it was my duty because I already told them, yes. So, but yeah, continue.
Well, and here's the thing. if you are a morbidly obese, disgusting, not pretty looking girl, you could do a number of things. I'm not saying you're not a human. You're worth something. You could maybe manage a construction site. You could be a telemarketer.
Martina,
you could be.
Hold on a second, Paul. Hold on a second.
But I feel like you're a huge asset when it comes to event planning, etc. Hope more people tap into your talents. People are definitely missing out on your planning skills.
Thanks so much, Kevin Jones. He donated $10. He said, Martina, it's been a while, but I feel like you're a huge asset when it comes to event planning, etc. Thank you for noticing that. People don't...
That was Stephen Hawking's wife, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Hope more people tap into your talents. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for, too. People are definitely missing out on your planning skills. I agree. I actually am working on an event with the Post-Millennial. We're planning some event in October, so... That's exciting that I feel like for the first time in 4 years, 4 years that anyone is taking my planning skills and we're actually doing something cool in New York. So, yeah, I don't know.
Awesome.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you for that, Kevin Jones. But yeah, we were talking about
these girls. You could do anything if you're overweight. Get good at math. Do something like that.
Right.
But you know what? Not for every woman, beauty isn't your thing. And it doesn't mean that you're worthless. It doesn't mean you're a bad mother or a bad sister or brother or person. It just means that, yeah, maybe you're not a girl who should be cinching up a corset and doing like a feather fan Rockettes fucking routine for, New Year's Eve. So the 3 girls that we booked that were good all dropped out at the within hours of the day before, like the very last minute. So I went, okay, well, I got 3 alternatives, so I hit them up, who were a little more shaky, but I was like, the pictures they look like a regular chick.
That'll do. Yeah,
it
was
fine.
like, so the thing is, like, also when you start getting more and more desperate, it's like the standards start to, so like the closer to the date of the event, and like there's certain things that happen where like your standards start to get like really low, and it's like, yeah, that'll do, as long as they all have the same outfit and look like women in their 20s, early 30s, like it's okay.
We need a warm body.
Yeah,
we were like, we need bodies to fill a little outfit, and then I'm gonna sit there and look scary and menacing, so nobody like grabs a titty when they're too drunk or something like that. That was basically the gig. And the day of the thing comes. Now, in all fairness, one of the girls was fine.
Which one was that?
Forget her name.
Oh, yeah. I think I know who you're talking about. She was a little spunky. She was like a little spunky one.
Yeah, she was fine. She was professional.
Yeah, I think that's probably why I forgot about her, was because the other ones were such monstrosities that the actual one decent one was like, thank God, okay, that one kind of saved the rest of the room. You know what I mean?
Well, she did her goddamnedest, that poor little thing.
God.
She was the little engine that...
You know what? We gotta find her contact, because I could use her.
It could be Lisa 1.
Okay, can you find an email? Can you find an email for that? Maybe?
I'm sure I do.
All right.
The first girl who showed up was Lisa 2. And her pictures were like this redhead, and she was like, and about 30 years old, and we were like, okay, well, she'll be fine.
Her pictures looked okay, yeah.
She was a little odd on the phone. Now, this is your Paul tip for the day. Write this down. Whoever's not writing this down, you're missing out on some life lessons. If anyone seems a little weird on their first impression, they're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Judge them. They are weird. They are not going to get better. They're never going to get better. And I realized, like, okay, she's a little awkward and weird, and I was like, I was making excuses. Like, maybe I caught her at a bad time. Maybe, like, she just came in from work or who knows. When she showed up, this woman in her mid-50s shows up.
I don't know how old she was, but she had a lot of wrinkles. So, like, let me tell you, when Paul showed up with this chick, so I'm, like, stressed out because it's a really high-class event. It was at, like, Soho House or something. I don't know if you guys know in New York. It was Soho House, so... it's like one of these where you have to be like a member of. It is a pretty like upscale kind of thing, whatever. It's basic bitch upscale, so it's probably like all the people in the room, like whatever. They're probably not that interesting. They're probably like
everybody was like in suits. And
yeah, it was fancy. It was
champagne,
fancy.
all that
It was like one of these like ooh, like at the door, like everyone's like really snotty, like to get in, blah blah blah. So it was a fancy event, and it's like they like models attend these things. It's downtown Soho, like New York City fashion, you know. So it's like the girls you hire should be like good looking girls, and like this girl comes in, and it's motherfucking New Year's Eve, so it's cold. It's New York. She comes in with like a full on like snowsuit, right?
Well, she's like, first thing, because she was like, meet me by the elevator. I'm like, cool.
And like you guys have to like remember again, it's New York, it's downtown, it's like a fashionable club like event, not even a club, it's like a social club, so it's like not, it's really nice inside, and everyone at the door is like model looking. They're like in these like little tiny like tight outfits, and they're all like super fashion. They're all like, yes, darling, you know. And then it's like this like beast of a woman who's like, I'm tall, okay, I'm like 5'8". And this girl comes in like this, and she's like wrinkles all over her face, in a like goddamn snowsuit and a hat, like a 5-year-old. It's like, it's cold, and I'm like,
I said hello to her at the elevator. I go, oh hi, how you doing? And as she's turning around to look at me, I go, oh, this can't be the girl, because I saw her picture. She doesn't look like this. This could. And by the way, if you're going for a modeling thing, you know what? You got paid, so I guess you fooled us. But at the same time, it's like, why would you be like, why don't I send pictures that totally misrepresent my age and general look? And then when I show up, I'll just get the money. And that's what she did. The first she did, she turned around to see her, Lisa? And she's just like, I am so cold. Like, that was her look. And I'm just like,
so she was like weird. She was weird straight off the bat, but we have like Black Pigeon Speaks always comes in an almost random fucking stream that I do. Anyway, he said, I thought Martina was a little weird when I met her. Does that count? Oh my god, you thought I was weird? I was a little drunk maybe when we met, but like, all right, fine. Anyway.
I was so happy when, after I first met Martina, I was looking her up and down, and I'm like, she definitely killed somebody. Like, there's definitely some dark weirdness in her past where she's just a little too, like something's up. But turns out, haven't heard anything like that yet. She's nuts, but it's not.
No, it's a control. Nuts. Yeah, it's a controlled, decent, normal nut. I mean, all women. I have a phrase. It's men are stupid and women are crazy. And if you think about that and just like own it, you're kind of like, yeah, that's true. Because like men just like. Fucking like they're just stupid sometimes, you know what I mean? They pull stupid shit, and women are fucking crazy. I don't care who you are, we're crazy. Just
women do stupid shit, but I'll tell you this: I feel like most of the stupid shit men do is linked because men are sweeties. I think that men are too nice, and men will get themselves into weird situations that are stupid, and it's like there's red flags. You could be a fucking woman made of red flags, and the guy will be like,
yeah.
Give her a shot. Yeah. I mean,
no, okay, but anyway, let's like continue the story. I'm sorry. Is this okay, guys? We're going on about our like New Year's Eve gig story, but you know what? It should be told. I know it should be told. It's really funny. So anyway, when she comes in, and I'm like really nervous because like these are clients, are paying thousands of dollars, like blah blah blah. Like I got to do my part, and I'm like super eager to please like my clients, and my client's a woman, you know, so it's like, she is going to be more judgy of other women than, like, a guy. That'll be like, that'll do, I guess, you know? It's like, a girl's going to be like, this is not chic. You know what I mean? She's like, okay. And so this bitch comes in and is all, like, in her snowsuit and, like, you know, wrinkly. And my immediate thought, too, is because, like, you know, I'm getting older. I'm in my 30s and stuff. And I feel like sometimes I'm like, I'm too old for this. I like being the manager better about this, you know? And then, she comes in, and I'm just like, this bitch submitted for the ad? And I was like, looking in the mirror when we're, like, you know, getting ready, and I'm like, God damn, I look pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, compared to this bitch.
Beautiful, gorgeous, sexy.
Yeah, like, compared to this bitch.
Women.
Yeah, like, compared to this bitch, like, I'm pretty good. You know, I feel, like, really confident, but I was, like, stressed, because I was like, this is representing, like, my business right now. And I was like, whatever, get her in a costume. If we all get her into a costume, like, just she'll blend in and everyone will look like fine. It'll be fine. Just smile and have a good time. Have a good personality.
I distinctly remember after I made the intro, I'm like, oh, this is Martina. She'll be setting you up for the day. And she immediately started just bitching to you, like, it is so cold in here, could somebody turn up the heat?
She was complaining about the temperature.
I put my head down and skittered out of that fucking room, because in my head I'm like, you know, I've known Martina for a few years, never heard her yell, she's never yelled at me. I think you're gonna hear her yell tonight, and I have nothing to say about it. I'm like, she's gonna be like, how the fuck did you pick this fucking crazy, lunatic, ugly, old fuck? And I'm gonna be like, I know, there's nothing to say. And yeah, she went in, and what were her list of demands and complaints immediately? Because you remember better than I did.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, it was definitely constant complaints about the temperature, where she's changing, and it was like one of those like, like everything's like really like awkward and like stink face and like, you know. And then when I gave her the outfits and I gave her the shoes, so I can pull out the shoes. Actually, they're dance shoes. They're not big shoes. They're standard dance shoes. So if you watch any dance show, like, what are those, like Dancing with the Stars type stuff, like ballroom shoes, it's a very tiny heel, but it's an elegant look, and it's like a nude shoe. And she was like, can I wear, like, she was complaining, like, she wanted to wear her flats, remember? She, like, complained about wearing the heels, and I was like, what are you talking? She goes, it didn't say in the ad that I would have to wear heels. And I was like, it's an ad for a showgirl.
It absolutely.
What showgirl wears flats? I don't understand. You're applying to an ad about a showgirl for New Year's Eve, and you
By the way, you're
are surprised.
For 4 hours, you're getting hundreds of dollars of cash, and then for standing around in a costume, essentially, and then you fuck off, and we never have to speak again. And she is literally, I hate these people. It's the same people who get pulled over by cops and will be like, da, 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 you can't pull me over if I say these magic words. She's like, in the ad, it said, like, she's going to get us.
Yeah, and it's
we're going to be, by the way, I distinctly remember you trying to do her hair and being like, well, let's put your hair up. And she was literally going, ow, no, I can't. Oh, it hurts.
Yes.
Like,
she complained so
put her
much.
hair up.
Yeah, she complained about literally everything. She was terrible. She was a terrible human being. Oh my god, she was so bad. She was the Chris Chan, guys, of fucking showgirls. Oh my god. And anyway, and then there was like the other girl.
Oh, she was wonderful. Girl number 2, I forget her name, but she came in and she looked fairly normal at first glance, a little heavier than she was in her pictures, but whatever. At this point, hey, you're not like a
Lisa too.
Schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So come on in, and she smiles at me, and it was like staring into a jack-o'-lantern. This bitch was missing no less than 3 teeth, in her, like front teeth.
She had missing teeth.
Like, oh, Jesus Christ. And once again, lowered my head and skittered out of the room like a Japanese servant. And I got the fuck out of it. Because I'm like, Martina is going to see what I see, and she's going to lose her goddamn mind. And she began, some girls are like just getting undressed in the common area, except, by the way, for Lisa too.
Yeah, she had her
I
own.
need to be in the bathroom. I can't get undressed in front of all the people. And we're like, it's an event. It happens. Like, don't worry.
Yeah, like, just get fucking dressed, bitch.
And trust me, nobody's trying to fuck you. Nobody.
We all got a job here, okay? Most of these people are gay. Paul's not, but get over it. Like, we're all working.
No, I'm straight. I'm definitely taking peeks at the girls who are doing their damnedest. But the other girls, I am avoiding my eyes like I'm looking at plutonium.
But don't forget about the girl with the missing teeth. She also...
I was going to get here.
Okay. I wanted to make sure you didn't forget.
I didn't forget. So she's getting undressed with us. She took off her top. They may have been the worst breasts I've ever seen on a human. They look like 2 socks filled with raisins and nickels, just like dangling, just skin, hands, and she was young. She was young.
She was younger than me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going, oh God. And now I'm leaning in looking at them, but I'm doing it in like a car accident way, like, and I'm looking over at Martina, and all I was thinking was, you fix this, right? There has to be some theater trick that you know where you could stuff them in, and I swear to God, because the bra thing that you had was, it was harder. It was like made
it's a bralette. I mean, it's kind of like a belly dancing looking kind of bra, whatever. Yeah, so it had a cup to it, and it was like it had a lot of rhinestones and sequins and beads hanging off of it. So it had like a cup. Think about like a cup, but for like tits, you know?
I watched this animal pick up the breast, fold it, I shit you not, and stuff it in like it was a fucking envelope. And I'm just going, oh my God, holy shit. And I'm hoping like that thing keeps the form of these liquid tits that she has. And I'm just going, oh, this is so fucking bad. Oh, this is, no.
Yeah, these girls were pretty bad. And then there was the third girl, right? We had three girls. And then the third girl
was hot.
She was fine. She was good. And she had a great person. She was spunky. She was a spunky little one. And so then, again, I had to go to my gig. But before the night, kind of pops off, we set them out, and they're stationed out to go out, whatever, and then Paul's going to manage them and take care of it. So I left to go to my personal gig, and Paul, you want to tell us a little bit how the dance floor was that night?
Well, all Lisa 2 did all night was complain that her feet hurt from the non-heels that she was wearing, and she couldn't dance. Because they're like, what are we supposed to do? And I'm like, just dance. Just, do a thing. You answered the ad, right?
These are the heels.
Yeah.
Let me show you the heels. That was the heel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Men in the 16th century wore those all the time. She should be fine.
She complained about this heel.
No, but... And
it's
also, like, because, you're wearing, like, a Rockettes-looking thing, and she literally was like, oh, we can't be going out there in this. I'm so cold. I have to have my coat. I have to... And we're like, no, the whole thing is you're in costume.
A coat. She wanted to wear a coat.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, no. So, as the night's going on, they're like, what are we supposed to do? And I was like, well, I don't know, just dance, find a position, talk to guys, take pictures. Like, you're basically there to get your picture taken all night and look cool.
Yeah.
And dance.
Smile. Make the room look like it's, like, lively and, like, things are happening. There's feathers and...
Toothless girl, some drunk guy, like, grabbed her ass and she started crying at some point, and I had to, like, muscle some drunk guy where I was trying to not piss the client off and at the same time let this guy know that I am jarringly polite and capably violent. And she was just like literally in tears. I'm like, just stay away from him. Oh my God. Lisa 2, I look over and she's like laying on one of the couches and making some dude fan her with one of Martina's very expensive feather fans.
Oh my God.
And I'm going like, Jesus. And she goes, oh, my feet just hurt. I don't want to stand up anymore. So about a half hour before midnight, I go, hey, listen, the client wants all the girls in costume to go over by where they're opening the champagne and doing the countdown so you can be in all the pictures and stuff. So I'm telling all the girls this, and I got to Lisa 2, I'm telling her it, and she just responds. I go, so just, around 10 minutes before midnight, please just go over there. So
wait, hold on one second. I'm showing on the screen the costumes. So these were the costumes that we made the girls wear, just so you guys see it. So just imagine, like, this is what I'm presenting to the clients. There's showgirls. Let me enlarge it a little bit, actually. Hold on for you. Window. Hold on. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. There you go. Yeah, so it's like a full package, a little flapper outfit. It's, it is what it is. Small little tiny heel. Could you imagine trying to put on one of those, like, fucking snowsuit jackets on top of that? With one girl? Just, like,
shocking.
Looking like a giant beast and, like, miserable in, like, a fucking coat with that outfit.
Oh, yeah. And when I told her just dance, and I was I was getting aggravated. I'm like, just dance. Just fucking dance. She literally would have a look on her face like she had a machine gun to her head in a hostage video. And she just, like, went... And I was like, oh my fucking God. Like, you applied for this job. You wanted this What the fuck?
I
So
know.
I tell her about, like, hey, listen, 10 minutes before midnight, get over there, but with the host. They're going to do the big countdown on the mic. They're going to toast with champagne. You guys can drink some champagne, blah, blah, blah. And she responded to that without a yes. Her response was immediately, she went, I am so cold and my feet hurt and I don't want to do this right now. And I just, like, looked at her. It was the only time I yelled that night. I was like, hey, we all have fucking problems, okay? Deal with yours. And I turned around and stormed away, and I didn't speak with her for the rest of the night. I had to pay her at the end of the night. I would have rather cut my hand off at that fucking moment than hand her that fucking envelope.
Dude, it was like
money.
100. How much did we pay the girls?
At least like 300
At least 300.
for like
Yeah.
4 hours worth of work.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, how, like, was
Work.
it 3 hours?
Work.
Was it 4 hours? And yeah, and exactly, what your job is to show up, get into a costume. You don't even have to bring anything, okay? It's my costume that I own. I bring it all, and you just put it fucking on, and you get into a really nice area, and you just smile, you drink champagne, you could talk to people if you want. You can do whatever, just have fun. It's New Year's Eve, and you get money while everyone spent money for the night. Like, dude. And you get into, like, exclusive access to something people pay thousands of dollars to be at for New Year's Eve, and you get, like, paid to be there. Like,
Not to mention, I'm a guy. I'm pretty, but I'm not that fucking pretty. I mean, if I want to make $300, I gotta work for 3 days in a coal mine, or I have to cut down a tree, or do something productive. Nobody will pay me to just be like, hey, put on a thing and walk around for a while, and you get $300. And it's like, huh. Yeah, okay. There's literally almost no job. I could filmmaking. I'd make.
Paul, didn't I
money
want
like
you to? Didn't we? I wanted, like, us to dress up as, like, Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
Oh my
or
god!
some
I still
shit.
want us to dress up as Mickey.
Dude, I had the coolest costumes, man. I had this, like, rat tail. It was so cool.
Well, fuck all that. We should just do it and hang out.
Because I remember one time you were like, yeah, I'll be the fucking mouse.
No, it went from "you got to be kidding me" to I think we could be Mickey and Minnie. I think we'd be a cute Mickey and Minnie. To fuck it, we're Mickey and Minnie, motherfuckers. And then it got canceled, but to this day, I don't know.
And I made
Just
it.
come over, let's put on some fucking mouse ears and watch some horror movies or some shit. But yeah, that all happened. And then at the end of it, because of course when there's people you never want to see again, you will inevitably be talking to them again. That was the other big thing. She needed a ride. She kept going, I need a ride. Can you give me a ride back to my house? I live in Midtown. Can you give me a ride? And I'm like, you just made $300. Call a fucking cab. It's New Year's. I have to stand in the cold and hail a cab. And somehow we got her the fuck out. And of course, she took one of the costume pieces with her. And she also took 2 hours to get undressed. So we're all, like, waiting for her.
Are you serious?
You remember, you were there at that point, I think.
Was I?
Maybe not.
No, because you drove her home.
No, she did, like, everybody else was ready, and I was like, come on, let's all leave together. And we were waiting for her, and she's in the bathroom for, like, another 45 minutes. And she gets out and goes, oh, are you all waiting for me? And I'm like, yeah, bitch, of course we're waiting for you. And then she fucking is like, oh. And took, like, one of the necklaces or chokers that you had. So, of course, she texts me, and then it becomes a whole thing of, like, well, could you come to my house and get it? And I'm like, listen, I'm at another gig right now. And I said, listen, pop it in the mail. Oh, I don't want to put it in the mail. I want you to get it. Okay. I'm going to say this once, Lisa, too. It's not about what you fucking want. You took something from us. Yep. You need to get it back. And eventually, I had to outline, like, listen, if I drive to your house, what that is for me, it's $20 in tolls and a 45-minute drive one way, 45-minute drive the other way, or you pop it in the fucking mail and we get it a day later anyway. And I also work all day, every fucking day, so I don't have time to be doing this shit. And she just, like, was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, okay, great, sorry about that, thank you. And then eventually sent it to me, and I, years later now, got it back to my
Literally the other day, in September, like last week. We solved
this Lisa thing after 2 years.
This was 2017. This was 2017.
Yeah. Because I kept either forgetting it every time I saw you or whatever, like, it just, oh, yeah, that thing, because it's like some little stupid
So Jay
thing.
says, holy shit, Lisa is a meme now, totally true. She is a meme for me and Paul. Now we shared it with, what do we got, 42 people now know about Lisa too, And that's really fantastic. I wish that you kind of took pictures throughout the night, because I wish we could seriously meme her, like physically being like miserable in my outfit. Like,
I'm glad I didn't. For one, I don't need memories of that. It's already burned in my brain. I don't want anyone catching me being like, why do you have all these pictures of homely, like, filthy hobo women dressed as Rockettes, looking like you took them hostage in a creepy rape van? And I'm like, I swear I didn't. I swear to God.
And then we have Wise Guys Entertainment said earlier, it's not in front of me right now, but he said something about now you have to put on ads that they require, what was it, Wise Guys? He says teeth. They require teeth. Oh, no, the heels and to wear heels and to have teeth. Mm-hmm. On the ad, you have to now put that on the ads.
I guarantee if we specified that, like if we specified you have to have teeth, we would still get, like, listen, I'm missing 4 of my front teeth, but I am hotter than all these fucking... I get the egos on women. When I work at the strip club that I go to, that I work at, I swear, the collection of fucking slobs that walks through... I've seen human refrigerators walk through that door and be like, I could be a stripper. And you're just like, no. Who told you that? Who's telling you you're pretty? No one told you you're pretty. If I tell you you're ugly right now, I'm not the first guy to do it. Surely somebody has been like, you are a goddamn land beast and you shouldn't be fucking doing this. But it does not stop them. They're like, and not only, especially with a strip club audition, when the girls go in, they almost have this thing. They could be 400 pounds and 6 foot tall and just one eye, and they'll be like, can't believe I'm lowering myself to do this. And you're just like, what? No, nobody's going to pay to see you naked. Get the fuck out of here. What's wrong with you? It's like, and we paid all those girls that night, by the way, despite the attitude. We're like, I guess technically you were here. And I'm actually asking you, because this is a fucking disaster. I go, okay, what do we want? Do we want warm bodies or do we want the better girls? Because we'll send home the bitches right now, but we won't have the girls. And you were like, the client wants 3 girls. We're like, well, then we're giving them 3 girls. 3 technically female people are going to be on that floor. More or less.
Ridiculous. Yeah, okay, so people are saying that I missed some super chat, so let me check out what's going on. So Eric, 555, he says, would you eat a banana if it was kind of brown? Yes. That's when it's best, I think. When it has little brown spots, I think it's quite good. I definitely eat them brown, and if they're very brown, I make very good banana bread with it. When they're
I was going to say,
brown
bananas are good for banana bread. I like a slightly ripe banana. I honestly thought that question was just going to be like, can you eat a banana? And it's like, oh, this is you poor soul. This is what you've been reduced to.
Yeah,
just be
for
like,
$5.
Sure, guys, I can eat a banana.
For $5.
$5, Martina will eat a banana.
Well, you know what? That's a good rate. It's not bad.
For banana eating?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, women have no excuse not to make money. You fucking girls out there could literally, if you look normal, not even hot.
Dude, people say that shit all the time, okay? It's rough, okay? It's not the same for everyone. Some girls know how to manipulate money.
Martina, have you tried selling your bathroom garbage?
Dude, who's gonna buy that shit? No.
There's guys who buy it for $50 a pop.
It depends on who you are.
I've never met them.
It depends on who you are. Whatever. It's not like I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, whatever.
You got Q-tips and toenail clippings. That stuff's gold just sitting in there. And some guy wants to just roll in it and rub it on his face.
No, dude, that shit has my DNA. They can do some weird witchcraft with that. I'm not giving them that. So we have Barb Rogers. Hey, Little Miss Sunburn. She donated some 15 Canadian bucks through Super Chat. Cool. Eric, $2. Would you eat a banana even if it was kind of brown? Okay, sorry, I missed it a few times. He asked me 3 times, another $2. Yes, I would eat a banana even if it was kind of brown. Absolutely. I think that's when it's best. I think it's the most, like, ripe and sweet then. I don't like it when it's a little too raw, you know? What else do we have? Kevin Jones. Yeah, we read that, I think. Yep. TJ, he says, freedom means we are free to fuck up. Oh, I think that's back when we were talking about the punk rock stuff and the, what is it called? The parental advisory stuff and freedom.
Absolutely.
And shit.
Freedom means you're free to make your own mistakes.
And Rainbow.
Oh, there we go. That's productive. That's a productive.
You hear that?
Call
That's
for
productive. Rainbow said, gratuitous donation just to hear you mispronounce that word. Gratuitous, right? I think I'm saying that one right, Rainbow. Shut up. Okay, so those are the donations.
Wait, so that's what? 4 donations?
Oh no, there's a bunch. Why?
Well, we owe them. Dollar bills, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Dollar bills, y'all. Dollar bills, y'all. Dollar bills, y'all. All we do is win no matter what. Come on. You know the words.
No, I don't.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to unlock my door, and then we'll get back into some other juicy topic.
Ooh, okay. Sounds good. All right, let me check in on you guys as well. I don't know why my head is really itchy in this part. It's like, I think I got like some chemicals I was working on in my head. I don't know what's going on. Stop, Paul. Stop what you're doing. Says Jay. Listen, Jay, we are old and cringy, and what makes us not cringy is that we know we're cringy, and, you know, it's less, like, stupid. So, Jay was just making fun of us for doing that, and he was saying, Paul, stop that. And I was like, yeah, you know what? We're old people that are just laughing at ourselves, and that's what makes us cool. Instead of taking ourselves like, yeah, no, we're, like, edgy. We're so cool.
Dollar bills, y'all.
No,
that's what I think of you.
No, so I've done a few throughout the years on stream. That is a classic. Jay knows these. But one time I was streaming really late in the middle of the night because I was in the UK. And I was just delirious. And I said, I wanted to wrap up streaming. And I was like, all right, so we've been rocking and rolling. And then I was like, rocking and rolling? What the fuck am I saying right now?
No, you're 52 years old. It's your birthday. Donate for Martina's birthday. She's 52 years old. And she is rocking and rolling.
Good night, Darth. Okay, bye. He's out of there. He's out of there. Let's go. Anyway.
I think the moral of the story here is, and I love saying this, so I say it as many times as I broadcast anywhere as I possibly can. Crazy people all have one thing in common.
Mm-hmm.
They always go where they're not wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
And it is a common fucking thread that if somebody's nuts, if you have a crazy ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend, they're never crazy over there. They always need you to deal with them for some reason. If you have a stalker, that stalker needs your attention for some crazy reason. I don't know what it is, but I'm the kind of guy, I don't go to a party where people don't want me at the fucking party. I don't go like, oh yeah, well you're going to have to deal with me because I'm going where you... I just go, oh, those people think I'm an asshole?
All right, Paul, you confuse the chat. They think it's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Martina.
No, it's not. My birthday was July 10th. You remember?
Happy birthday.
We did a birthday
52
stream.
years young.
So, yeah.
She's doing great, everyone. She's getting a hip replacement soon.
Anyway, so, no, I mean, you know, is it my hip? Something has been hurting me lately, like, as I get older. I think it is a hip or something. I don't know. And I remember being like, oh, God, it's so achy nowadays.
About specific body parts, then you're really old. When you're like, my coccyx is really, really going on.
Yeah, but anyway, so what else about, like, this artsy stuff? So there's things going on. I mean, you and I are New Yorkers, right?
Yeah.
Of sorts, you know, like, we're, like, yeah, you know, tri-state area people, I guess. And, there's something going on with the sculpture of Teddy Roosevelt in front of the... What is it? In front of the museum? The Natural History Museum. And
one of my favorite sculptures of one of my favorite presidents. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's happening.
So
right
apparently, here's the problem, and it's very confusing for people who think rationally. He's depicted in the sculpture with an African American and a Native American. Apparently that means that's racist. The fact that they're in the sculpture with him,
that's the
which
thing.
you would think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing is that, like, they want representation. They're pissed off that they don't have representation, and then when they are depicted, it's racist.
Yes. Well, and it's not they, because I doubt Native Americans and black people.
No, whoever's
are
complaining.
really up in arms.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that they give a shit or one way or the other. But the problem was they were like, well, being that Teddy Roosevelt is white and depicted as the leader and he's up on a horse and he has these two people on either side on foot, they're subservient to him in the context of the statue. And all I kept thinking was, he was the fucking president. It's not like they just went, here's a monument to whiteness that we're thinking of making. And, of course, the white man will be on the horse while the dirty minorities have to walk and trudge behind him because he is superior to them in every way. They didn't think that for 2 seconds. Obviously, they went, oh, you know, Teddy Roosevelt has a history with black people. And by the way, Teddy Roosevelt actually was inviting black people to the White House. There were black people in the House of Representatives, all Republican, by the way. And Teddy Roosevelt would have audience with them all the time. Native Americans, same thing. He didn't hate them. Matter of fact, he fought alongside them when he did his Rough Riders thing for the Spanish-American War. So he had like cowboys. He had literally cowboys and Indians, guys from Harvard who were on the football team. And back when Harvard, it was like a tough thing to be on the football team in Harvard. Like, and his buddies. And they all went down and formed like their own little segment of the Army. He resigned as Secretary of the Navy, and they became the Rough Riders and went down and actually fought in the Spanish-American War because he was that awesome. And they want to take this thing down. And literally, my favorite statue in all of New York. Just Roosevelt looking regal as a motherfucker, just standing up there. And also, he was a conservationist, which is why they put him in front of the Natural History Museum. And they still like one of his grandkids sitting, and that person even went out of their way to be like, well, it's time, I suppose. And it's like, wow, they got to you motherfuckers bad, didn't they? They were like, you're not going to sit on the board anymore unless you tell us your great-grandfather was a motherfucker.
Yep. I mean, this is where we're at. But, yeah, I mean, and another thing about New York, too, is that, you know, this is... There's a lot of Native American stuff around here. I mean, when my elementary school mascot was a Native American head, you know, with the whole headdress thing and everything, we have a lot of... We got Tuckahoe in New York. We got, you know, Mohonk Mountain. There's, like, you know, all sorts of Native American stuff. I think the Native Americans here, my brother told me, the ones in the Hudson Valley upstate that settled there, in that area, they actually got transported to what is it, Nevada or some shit? What yeah, like over there, Arizona. They got transported to like Arizona, and he was like, isn't that kind of like fucked up, because it's like such a different landscape. If you can imagine, you know, upstate New York and stuff is like lush and green, there's waterfalls and all this stuff, and there's like so many animals and things, and then they go to like Arizona where it's a fucking desert and it's hot, and it's like, what the fuck do we do here? And that's kind of like where we sent them. But yeah.
I never understood in my life the idea, because we've named so many things in the country after tribes and Native American people and different things like that. What do you think that is? Do you think that's racism? Like, do you think we just like, we hate these people? Wouldn't it be funny to call something, you know, to call it, I'm trying to think of like Ohio. Ohio is a Native American word, or Iowa. We're going to name it Iowa because those guys suck so hard. And it's like, does anyone think like that?
Yeah, like, exactly. It's like, okay, is this like, do you want representation and for us to like be, you know, give tribute, or do you want us to completely erase that? Like, no names, no statues, no, you know, like, can't depict it in fucking butter. You know, like,
even the Washington Redskins debate when they're like, we got to change the name.
Also, I want to say, sorry, I just want to say thank you to Steven. Steven is so sweet. You're really, really great. I'm so glad that you're in the Discord and a part of this community. He gave a donation. Thank you so much.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Okay.
We got donation. Cool. But even with the Washington Redskins, does anyone name their sports team after something they think sucks? Like, do they go like,
right.
I want to be a Washington Redskin? Why? Because they suck and we kick their ass because we're white. And it's like, it doesn't happen because that's silly. Nobody goes, here they are, the Florida N-words. They're coming in. Oh, look at them. Like, it's not a demeaning thing. It's supposed to be, you're so fearsome.
Right.
Like a redskin when those Redskins came over the mountain. Oh, everyone was scared. That's what we're naming our football team after.
Yeah, wasn't that also, was it that, or was there some other team that has, like, it's actually, like, a guy that was, like, that helped them during some sort of war, maybe with the Brits or something. There's, like, some sports team, I don't know if it's Redskin, like, the actual, like, figure of, like, the person, like, head, is actually...
I think it's Washington Redskins.
Yeah, I think he's, like, an actual, like, native that, like, helped, you know, us, settlers. I mean, I say us, like, my family came here in 1985 to America, but you know what I mean? I mean,
Americans.
Americans.
Came here in 1921. I have no idea. I have no connection with slavery.
Right,
I'm always shocked when people are like, you owe me reparations. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you owe me reparations.
Right. But, yeah, no, so there's some sort of, you know, native that, like, is well-respected, and they helped, you know, the settlers during some sort of thing or whatever, and it was, like, some tribute. It was actually to honor him, and they, like, flipped out about it. But, yeah, anyway, so also people are making sure that I keep tabs on what's going on here. Stephen, who donated, said, hey, McQueena, do you have another story about the nuns?
Yes.
The nuns? Are they talking about the, like...
The band?
I don't know, Steven. Okay, let me keep an eye on the chat. What do you mean by nuns? Are we talking about the pissing girl, or...
Nice.
Are we talking about actual nuns, or what's going on here? Let me know, Steven. Let me just go back to that. I'll continue reading a little bit. We have Kevin Jones is... A gift is gonna pop up in a second for $5, I do believe. But when that happens, we'll be prepared for it. But he says natives.
Dollar bills,
yeah, he says natives in NM. Is that New Mexico? Is that what's NM?
New Mexico.
New Mexico call themselves Indians. Natives in New Mexico call themselves Indians, and yes, many wear Redskins gear. Lot of pride. I work with many of them. Great people. Oh, very cool.
I'm happy he mentioned that, because most American Indian, Native Americans, whatever you'd like to call them, call themselves Indians, and there's a good reason for that. You know what the reason is? In 1492, the country we now know as India was known as Hindustan. There was no India. So the original Indians were Indians. Columbus called them something in Dios, which means in God in Spanish. So it translated whatever he said to was a people in God. So what's wrong with that? Like, and you know, the myth of, I love the myth of, or it's not a myth, like, oh, that dumb Columbus didn't even know where he was. He thought he was in Asia or something. It's like, yeah, that idiot who did something for basically the first time anyone recorded doing it. What a moron. And also, why use a wooden ship? Why didn't he just fly into LaGuardia? Because there was no LaGuardia. He needed to cross in a wooden ship and figure out where the hell he was before we could build a LaGuardia. So that's why that goes down like that. And the fact of the matter is, when people talk about, like, they were subjugated, they lost their land, it's like, well, we had wars with Indians for 400 years. And in those wars, we didn't kill all of them. What happened was there were alliances that were made. They were more than happy to trade. These are people who never saw metal. These are people who never invented the wheel. They loved the fact that people were coming and were like, a knife made of metal? I can hunt with this. Axes to cut down our trees? We don't just have to chew them like we were before. Like, they loved it, and they would align, and they would go, hey, do you have any land around here we could use? They go, yeah, right across the river. But there are these real awful tribe that we fight with all the time. Hey, but if you help us out with your guns and swords, maybe you could have their land. And that's how that worked. And by the way, when people say Indians, like it's one fucking term, the Indians who were in this country, there were Ho-Chunks, there were Lenape, there were Comanche, there were Apaches, there were Mohegans. There's all different types of nations of Indians, and they were very diverse, even more diverse than Europe was. And they fought constantly. So to just say the Native Americans did this or did that, it's like, really, as a fucking group? Because they did nothing as a fucking group. They fought each other all the time. There were some that... Matter of fact, because I have the Charles Manson t-shirt on today, I believe it was the Apache, that in order to become a man, you have to go on 5 raids. They were a raiding culture. In one raid, an average of 4 to 6 people were killed. So that's a Manson murder per raid, where 4 to 6 people are being killed, and you had to do 3 of them to be considered a man in that tribe. That's one of the reasons why there was a lot of wars, because they said, this is our culture. This is what we do. We take your shit. That's part of our culture. And the best way to describe them is like the way Al-Qaeda is, like living in the hills, and then they just like come down, do some shit, take your stuff, and then go back to the hills, which is why there were armies fighting them at the time in the 1800s. But people don't understand that. They also don't understand that when they say we're on stolen land, there was a war called I hope everyone loves this in the chat, by the way. This is my big history thing that I have a fucking thing in my craw over. There was a war called the French and Indian War, where the French and most of the Indian tribes aligned together to fight the English and some other Indian tribes, and they lost, which meant they forfeited all their land. Then those remaining Indian tribes, 20 years later, fought the colonists, who became Americans, and they lost all their land. So they lost 2 major wars where every Indian tribe was like, so we don't really get any land? And they had a little bit, but, you know, nothing significant. You don't really control anything. And then they continued to raid on the East Coast until the Trail of Tears happened. So it's my point is, Indian culture in America is a very complex history of trade and agreements and wars and fighting and alliances, and treaties were broken all the time. Sometimes by one side, sometimes... Just like when people say the white man. Who are you talking about? The French? Like, are you talking about the English? Like, when the white man came, it's like, you mean the Spanish? Why aren't you mad at Puerto Ricans?
Yeah. No, we have someone in the chat, Real West. I'm not sure if he caught that, but he was making a point about how the Redskins was originally called out to give respect and honor the native tribes. Yeah, and I think the actual head is of one guy in particular. I think his name is like Black something. Hold on, let me look this up. Native
Black Machismo.
American, like sports, like honoring. Like, I don't know what I'm saying.
That's a terrible Google search.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, I don't know. It was definitely a thing, but it's like a specific guy they were actually honoring, and he was like a legend in the area. He's like helped the settlers, kind of, you know. Even like you said, the name Indian. You said what was it? It's like God, something.
It comes from the Spanish word "a people in God." In Dios,
and I mean that
Spanish.
sounds that's pretty flattering too. I mean, you know. To call these people to have, like, God in that is pretty cool.
It would be incorrect to say atrocities didn't happen on both sides, and the people with the better technology are usually better at the atrocities. 100%. But even when they say, well, when the white people came, they spread all that disease, it killed 95% of the Native Americans. And it did. Unfortunately, germ theory didn't flush itself out till 1878. So anything before that, they thought it was fucking ghosts. They were dumb as shit back then. They didn't use toilet paper, ever. So think about that. Like, people just sort of like go, oh, yeah, you killed them with disease, and you coughed on them. Like,
oh my God, I've done a lot of stuff about this topic. Actually, I've done some videos at Rebel and researched a lot about it. It's quite interesting. There's a lot of documentation about the mass graves that they did to each other and all sorts of stuff, and how they're, you know, obviously there wasn't even germs discovered. They didn't believe in germs. You're a crazy person if you thought about, like, invisible things that can make you sick. Like, you know, like, what? You're crazy. And it was a guy that was a midwife, and when he would between delivering babies, he'd wash his hands in between, and it saved a lot of women's lives, because I guess mothers died a lot before
He died in an insane asylum, by the way.
Really?
They locked him up for thinking that
germs
microscopic
exist.
little things were killing people.
So they didn't know that back in the day. So how can you say they used germ warfare when it was like we didn't even believe that shit existed? Anyway, they in fact kind of researched it, and it comes from the migrating cows and stuff from Mexico. So actually Mexicans destroyed the natives, but they got sick over a period of time. There's a span of time that they got ill, and it started from like the Mexico area where it was migrating cattle. That actually did it. But anyway,
first that, and then those stuff. Mexicans took those towers down on 9/11, and I'll never forgive them for that.
So let me see. We got a bunch of super chats to go through. Let me just refresh this page. Refreshing. Okay. Yeah, Kevin Jones made that point for $5. Says the natives in New Mexico call themselves Indians, and yes, they wear the Redskins gear, a lot of pride. I work with many of them, great people. Steven said, hey, McQueena, do you have another story about the nuns? Oh, and the nuns he's referring to is P.P. Lux. We can, yeah. So Steven is a he knows about P.P. Lux.
I know all about
P.P. He knows about P.P. Lux. So Steven is a cool guy. He's definitely more into like the culture, artsy, the performing kind of world that I was in. So he's definitely interested in that kind of stuff. So let me read through the comments, but Paul, keep that in your head about maybe some performing stuff, P.P. Lux, whatever. Barb Rogers, okay, I just want to make sure that we did say she donated $15, but I think Wise Guys was keeping tabs on me saying, oh, you forgot her second one. I did it together. I'm sorry about that. Maybe we should have done the hey separately. So there was the $10.
All we do is
hey,
win no matter what.
And then there's the $5. And then there's the $5.
You don't participate in singing for some reason.
Yeah. Okay, the bananas, great. Yeah, okay. I think we did it.
Martina has said for $5 she'll do anything you want with banana.
Paul, calm down.
Calm down?
Calm down. Don't give them any material. Okay, yeah. So, more of the performing stuff. I mean, I don't know what you want to know about her, but the P.P. Lux is an expert at, like, peeing into a bucket.
Nice.
Yeah, so she is someone that I used to perform at in this theater that I worked at that, I guess I got blacklisted from. I don't know, shit went down. And they campaigned against me to get me out of there. And we got P.P. Lux. And she just tries to shame me, and she tried to, get me out of there. She's just a terrible, shitty person. Is like a fucking... She pees into a bucket.
A skinny, really good-looking girl?
Is she a skinny, good-looking girl?
Yeah.
She's skinny, but she's old, and, like, I guess she would have been, like, cute if, she, in her younger days. But, like, I don't think there's anything special. She's older than me. She's definitely, like, aged, like, wrinkled and kind of...
So this woman is a great-grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
Yeah.
She makes a living pissing in a bucket.
Yeah.
I know guys in Virginia who do that for free.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, this is the kind of stuff, too, that I wrote about back in 2016 and on my website. I have a piece called Art in the Nude, and it was kind of just talking about that. I mean, because you have, like, when you go to, like, I went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art when it reopened recently, like last week or something, and we still got to do more streams about that. But, walking around, you see the old Greek and Roman sculptures, you see paintings, and there's like a titty hanging out, like there's all sorts of, nudity and all that, but none of it is like, hey, I'm pissing into a bucket, or like being like, like, yeah, piss, like, and it's just like so different than like,
Do you remember the piece Piss Christ from years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like I say, how they get stuck, and they're hacks, essentially, because it's like, well, that's been done. It was controversial. People got worked up over it. Whether you thought it was a good piece of art or not, it inspired something in people. But now it's 30 years later, and people are like, well, I'll piss, and people will go, ooh.
Right.
And it's like, listen, here's the thing. If you see two dogs fucking on the side of the road, you'll stop and look, but it doesn't mean you want to see it forever. It doesn't mean, like, that's the new thing where you're, people are going to want to keep spending money and going back to that and looking at that. You might look and go, what? I can't believe she's that shameless that she would fucking do that. But it's not a thing where you could be like, that's my art, I've done it. It's like, well, for one thing, it's been done fucking before and been done better than the way you've done it.
And that's what these girls would do, is like just really cliche things of like mocking Catholicism and being like, yeah, we're like evil nuns, and it's like, oh yeah, edgy. What is it, 1960? You're really
well, that's the thing.
it.
If they did a evil woman in a burqa thing, they would actually be edgy. I
did a burqa thing.
I know you've done burqa art, burqa performance stuff, but that's the thing. It's like you would actually turn heads. People would actually raise their eyebrows and go, "Ooh!" Over religion, by the way, that most people don't even believe in this country, but yet people will go, oh, can you do that? Are we allowed to make fun of that? And I think that, as I brought up Peter Steele earlier with my other film, one of the things he said to me was art upsets people. Great rock music and that style of art is meant to not be for your parents. It's meant to upset you and upset people. You can make fun of Catholics all day. It doesn't really upset anybody.
Right.
Because it's kind of stupid. And the people who do the recreational outrage thing, the trad life people who are like, I'm offended too over that. Oh, shut the fuck up. No, you're not. Like, you're not really offended. You're doing that recreational thing.
Yeah, I mean, when I would watch it, and I'm Catholic, it's not like I go to church and I'm like super like hardcore like, about it. But it's like, yeah, that's how I was raised. I do believe in God. Like, Jesus, I think, is a cool dude. Like, I like it. I dig. I like the tradition. It's fun. And so when I would watch, see the act and see these things happening, I'm just kind of like, oh, yeah, really edgy. Okay, cool. Like, you know what I mean? That's all I do to myself.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm an atheist, and
good night, wise guys. Thanks for coming. Sorry, I was just saying bye to someone in the chat. Bye, wise guys. Thank you so much.
Someone in the chat.
Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
I always think it's funny, by the way, that Jesus went from Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the way, the light, the lamb, to a cool dude. Yeah, he was alright. He didn't bogart the fucking joint, I'll tell you that much. It's like, fuck, but here's the thing. I also understand that it's like, there's people who, I think that the truth is important, and I don't believe that Christianity or Catholicism or whatever is the truth. In the same way, I don't believe Islam or Judaism is the truth. But there's one thing you're allowed to say, well, I'm going to make fun of that in an artistic form. But if you go, hey, I'm going to paint Muhammad, then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you can't do that. Oh, don't. And it's like people who are telling you not to do that. And not only do they tell you not to do that, it could get you killed. Like, yep. So to me, that's some ballsy art. Let's see you do that. And by the way, watch them stop it. It's like, I guarantee the boss at whatever establishment they're doing will pull them into the office and be like, listen, you could piss in a bucket, you could dildo yourself all day, you could swallow a whole fucking kosher salami, you could take a shit on a customer, but you cannot paint Muhammad. Like, which is kind of shocking in a way that it's like, really? Like, that's the line that we're choosing, which is why an artist's job is to cross that line. But even though people don't believe in it, people who are total atheists like me, but liberal atheists, people who think of it in the wrong way of like, I hate God and religion. Yeah. Religious people are always nice to me. Like, I don't have any gripe with religious people.
Like,
I just
genuine
don't think
religious people.
Is true.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny that it's like, they won't go there. And their whole thing is, oh, I go there. Well, why do you go there? I dyed my hair pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, ooh. It's like dildos.
Yeah,
like, ooh,
and I mean...
dildo. Oh, I've never seen a dildo.
Well,
ooh.
right, and that's what they do. They'd have, like, dildoing nuns, like, oh, okay, edgy. Oh, defiling, oh, sexual, like, nuns. Ooh, the edgy concept, right? Sexual nuns, right? But, yeah, they would also do other stuff that would roll my eyes, and I have kind of made comments at times, because they would, like, make references to Trump and Hitler. They would, you know, they had acts that had, Bernie.
Real originals.
Yeah, there was, like, Bernie acts. There was, like, all sorts of stuff. We had our buddy Nikki did a Trump act. You know that?
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
You know what? I want to say Nikki briefly met. I was hardly paying attention.
She had a Trump act.
But, yes, a mutual friend we had.
It wasn't...
I think she said that they roped her into doing
Yes,
Trump.
so I talked to her about it, actually, and she told me that she told them that she didn't feel comfortable doing this. It made her feel icky. But, am I allowed to talk about it? I'm not, like, outing her or anything. Like, can I?
No,
I mean, it's an
that's
act
not
she
even
did.
her real name. So.
Yeah, okay, and she, like, did, you know, she did it, a performance of it. This was her act. But, yeah, so this girl had a particular skill.
She's not the dad from Taken.
So she has a particular skill.
She has a particular set of skills.
She does. And so the directors at the theater that I worked at created an act around her skill. And they would actually create a few acts around her particular skill. So they would just find creative ways to use her skill.
Keep us in suspense, Martina.
So
what's this skill?
Her skill is, like, being able to just, like, squirt buckets, like, on command, like...
Squirts buckets on command!
Right? Is that how you describe her skill?
It's like a fire hose. It's something to behold.
You've seen it?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It just makes me feel really uncomfortable. Yeah, so... This particular skill, they created an act around it during the election that was basically, she's like this 50s, like, teenage girl in her bedroom. There's, like, some, like, teen bopper, like, music playing, and she's all, like, putting posters up or whatever. I think it's, like, Trump stuff. I think it's, like, Trump posters or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then she pulls out, like, a Trump doll, and she starts, you know...
Doing what?
Like, how do you describe, like, fucking herself with the Trump doll?
There you go, Martina.
Or, no, I was trying to think of, like, another way to say it,
Fucking herself. Dildoing
her. Dildoing. I think it was dildoing herself with the Trump doll. And then suddenly, like, yeah, like you say, fire hose, like, just...
It's like a Gallagher show. The people in the front row have to have tarps. It's crazy.
Yeah. And, yeah, so this wasn't something she created. She just comes with the skill and was like, okay, and they directed this whole, like, performance and stuff.
By the way, I've never met a bigger capitalist in my life than this fucking girl.
She has dreadlocks. Okay, I don't know.
No, not anymore.
Oh my God, I want to see what she looks like.
Yeah, she cut them, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I've seen the pictures of her with the dreadlocks. She looked alright, but like that was the thing that she was known for apparently for a long time. But no, she cut those. She has like regular.
Wow, that's interesting. Oh wow, good for her.
By the way, I almost know that I'm going to get in trouble for this. Am I allowed to bring up her trying to get you involved in her act at some point?
What?
She told me, and because I was saying, like, yeah, Martina isn't into the hypersexual angle of, like, the performance stuff and blah, blah, blah. Hold on 1 second. I have to take a call. I'll be right back.
All right. Well.
Yo. Oh, what's his face came downstairs. She must have blocked it.
I don't know how to like isolate his audio because he's on Skype. Okay, I think he walked away. Yeah. So. Yeah, what was I going to say about this chick? She's really sweet, though. And I'll probably get into that with Paul. But Ooh, okay.
Yo,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
back.
All right, cool.
Sorry.
No worries. No, but
yeah, she told me that she tried to rope you into her act at some point because she needed a girl to squirt on, and she said Martina just like went ah, and like ran out of the room. I go, yeah, that sounds like her.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I don't think I agreed to anything like that, and if I did, I was probably one of those, yeah, cool, yeah, maybe.
No,
maybe.
No. She in no uncertain terms was like, she suggested it, was like, oh, I need a girl I can do this with. Hey, Martina, can you just do this with me? And you just like went, oh my God, and like ran out of the fucking room. And I was like, yeah, sounds like her.
Anyway, but she's a really sweet girl. But yeah, no, they had different performances, like, you know, Trump acts, like political stuff, and at times, and then there's like a host that would say stuff, and it was always like something volatile and anti-Trump or whatever. And, you know, I would have my, like, rolling of the eyes moment and be like, oh my God. But,
well, that's the thing. I remember back in the, the last year of Bush, I was doing a theater thing. And I did some acting, but I was mostly doing like stage managing and things like that, and helping build sets. But they would always put me in a thing eventually. And one of the things they went, we want to do a night of political one-acts. And I went, great. Mm-hmm. And then they were going down the list of what they were going to do because they were so excited for Obama. And I said, well, why don't I do one where I just like totally make fun of Obama? And like do like a gross exaggeration of how he's going to destroy the country and how everyone's like, isn't this great? And he's just like enslaving all of America and doing all this horrible stuff. And the open mouth gazes I was met with when I suggested that, like, but why would you do that? And I'm like, well, because some people aren't going to like Obama. And they're like, but aren't those people all bad? And I'm like, no, I'm just saying, like, if you have all these political one-acts, because it's election season, I get it, cool, let's do that. But you're not really doing political one-acts, you're doing a night of left-wing one-acts. Right. So why don't I write an original one-act about how terrible Obama's going to be for the country and make it funny? And they were like, I don't think you could do. I wanted him to have like the Black Panthers as the Secret Service, and all this white slavery and fucking Islam, which is the new national religion. Like I wanted it to be like over the top funny and almost in a way like lampooning the people who would also think that that would happen. Right. So I was like, yeah, we should do this. They were fucking horrified, and I ended up doing some weird thing. One of the guys I knew was like a puppet guy, so we were like doing a act where we were like operating a George Bush puppet for some reason, and that like really never heard from again immediately. And those people all like, you know, once it was like, okay, I'm going to write about more political stuff online, I don't think I ever heard from any of those people ever again. I like those people, they're great people. The people at that production company, but like they never called me and said, hey, can you help us out? Hey, can you come back and do a thing? Like once that end of it took off, it was just like, yeah, I don't think we can be friends anymore. Yeah, it's pretty much what it's like right now. I mean, it's pretty wild because even me having to book girls, like let's say, Paul, we want to do another New Year's Eve type of bash. Oh, we have to go incognito as fuck. I have to wear a fake mustache. Like we have to do all sorts of shit to just be like, okay, don't Google me. Don't Google me. Right. We're gonna have to have like secret code names. You know. By the way, one of the people, not a theater related story. It's more of a sexual story. This girl who around the time that like the primaries were all happening in 2015, 16, whatever. And I took this girl to... Wait, hold on. We should dress up as Boris and Natasha when we do gigs. I would be totally into that as well. Okay. You don't even have to sell me. I think that it's already perfect. Okay, go ahead. Like to the like caricature. Like become like the caricature of Boris and Natasha and like be serious, but like... And it's like kind of like a mindfuck of like... I think if we went out as Russian commies, people would love us. They're supposed to be the good guys now. I mean, shit. Right? Oh, yeah. Right, guys? Everybody, hey, everyone in the chat, you all know that those guys in the black mask setting everything on fire, those are the good guys. Those are the victims. We're supposed to root for them? Anyway. So, but yes, we should absolutely do that. No, this girl, right during that campaign, I was up for an award for some film I did, and I wanted a date to my thing, because I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm actually winning something for something I did. And she was literally like 7th on my list of girls I was calling and being like, hey, do you want to come with me to this thing? And she was good-looking girl, around like late 30s, whatever, my age now. So I was like, cool, let's do this. We go out, and somehow she starts talking about Bernie. And she's going on and on about Bernie and this and that. And I'm just sort of like ignoring it, like, oh, cool, yeah, whatever. And then we end up like making out, going to a hotel, and we're like making out, and she keeps like weirdly, because she could sense that I'm not down with Bernie. And she, at one point we're kissing, and she literally stopped in the hotel to go do something. And as she walked away, said, so, you pumped for Bernie, huh? And I just went, because I'm also an honest guy. I'm not. Yeah. I'm an open book. If you ask me a question, I'll fucking answer it. And I just went, no, I am not interested in Bernie. Swear to God. She turns to me, and I like go grab her, and I'm like kissing her neck or something, and she just like looks at me and goes, oh, so you're a Hillary man, I guess. And I just looked at her and laughed and went, definitely not. And I just like go back into kissing her. I'm trying to like work my magic. At this point, I think I actually like put my hand down the front of her pants, and she stopped, kind of pushed me away, and just looked at me and said the funniest one word I've ever heard in my life. She just goes, Kasich?
My God.
I was like, Kasich? Nobody likes Kasich. I'm like, no. And she just went, who? And I was like, Trump. And we ended up like having a weird political conversation. She goes, but how could you like Trump? I don't understand. And I'm just like, listen, that's the guy, and this is the reasons, and blah, blah, blah. And I go, yeah. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm being totally normal right now.
Right.
I'm being like, hey, these are reasonable things, and I don't like political correctness. He lampoons that. I like that. I like the idea of a national identity and getting everyone involved in that, and blah, blah, blah. After the election, at some point, I texted her to just be like, hey, what's going on? Or talk. I asked her something about something that was relevant. And she didn't respond. And minutes later, she had like a paragraph or 2-paragraph thing about, I just want to say, if you still support Trump after everything, and this is like in December, so nothing's even happened yet. She's like, I have no love for you left in my heart, and I cannot be your friend anymore, and we cannot. And I'm like, I could not fucking imagine being so sensitive that I'm like, if you disagree with me politically, I'm cutting you out of my life. Like, and these are the people, as the great Jim Goad calls them, the new church ladies, the people who, like, now they're the sensitive ones, where before it was always conservatives who were, like, hypersensitive, hyper-judgmental, hyper whatever. And now the new church ladies are the people on the left who are, like, hyper, like, you don't believe exactly what I believe 100% of the time? Oh, my God, I can't have you in my life. And you ought not have a job, and you probably shouldn't be alive. Right. And if you get killed or go to jail, I'm going to laugh. And it's like, huh. But I'm the maniac.
Yep. Well, anyway, we've been on for 1 hour and 57 minutes, so...
Did we give them their money's worth? Anyone who wants to do last-minute tips, now's the time.
Last-minute tips, now's the time. Yeah, if you have any specific questions or topics and you want to actually, we'll stay on and, chit-chat if you have an interesting comment or something to get into, but, up to you guys. Donate so Paul can sing. We need a finishing act, says Jay.
We do.
Okay. All right. Thank God they're not asking me to sing. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I have a great voice.
People would say, oh, we got Wesley. I love the name Wesley, by the way. I like that name. I don't know how to say the last name. K-J-A-R? Kjar. It's probably Kjar. Because if it's Slavic, the J is a Y sound, a Y sound. So I don't know. But I don't think he made a comment with that. Let me check my Streamlabs.
Check his stream.
No, he didn't comment. He just dropped us a $5, so we'll give him a, like, what is it?
Dollar bills, y'all! There you go. This is how we eat. Me and Martina have not eaten in weeks. Do you understand
Actually,
what we go through for you?
true.
Do you understand the persecution, the victimization? My God.
Her rapping skills are, yeah, that's actually true, Jay. Yeah, I don't know why. I wish I could sing. I'd probably be, like, a huge star if I could sing. But I can't, and maybe if I get some training, that would be cool. I would like that, but I really don't think I can.
Though?
But I can rap. I can't necessarily, like, come up with, like, raps. I can try. I've done the really corny, like, rap generators, and they're hilarious. But people are gonna fucking hate me. I've had people unfollow me for this, but, I rap to a Cardi B song.
I'll unfollow you for that right
And
now.
I'm actually really good. Like, I'm really good at it.
At least spit some fucking big pun or some shit like that. Something old school. Down in the middle, little do we know.
No, but I need, like, a female.
Didn't do diddly, it'll be a cold day in hell.
Okay.
Before I'm taking it. Come on. You don't know old school rap? You only know, like,
No.
Cardi B is your
No.
big hero?
I didn't say she's my hero, but
Hero.
I was rapping to it. And, I don't know, I kind of vibe off, like, one of her songs because it's, like, I don't know, she's just talking about, like, you know, making money moves and shit, and it's, like...
It's about wet-ass
And then,
pussy.
well, I actually never heard that one, and I didn't watch the video. But I'm talking about her older one where she's just, it was like her breakout one where she's just talking about, like, fuck you bitches, like, fuck the haters. She talks about the haters a lot, which, like, I love. It's, like, one of those, like, you know, like, I proved you bitches wrong, like, because people, like, you know, they say that she's stupid. She is stupid, but, like, I think that she's not as stupid as people kind of make her out to be because, like, she has, like, you know, her parents are, like, Hispanic, and, like, they speak Spanish at the home. Like, they're probably, like, my father and stuff, who, like, doesn't speak English. Like, he's just full-on Croatian type shit, you know? And it's, like, they, like, have that language barrier where, like, she just grew up in that community, and it's, like, in the ghetto of, like, the Bronx, right? And so, like, you know how it is in the hood in the Bronx? They're just kind of, like, they don't speak proper English in general, and then they got the, like, you know, Spanish speaking, they don't really speak English very well, and so it's like she can sound stupid, just kind of like people think, like, my grandmother's stupid because she has an accent, you know, but it's like, alright, well, whatever, and a lot of people just...
No, I don't think people with an accent are stupid. I think people are stupid when they teach people on their live stream how to wipe their ass. And I think that people are stupid when they have diarrhea on their live stream.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's really raunchy. It's not my vibe. Like, she's definitely, like, that really trashy ghetto, like, vibe, which is, like, not me. It was never my thing. But I do admire that, like, she did have a lot of people kind of just being like, oh, she's just, like, a dumb stripper. And then, like, she ended up, like, kind of becoming, like, super successful and, like, getting Grammys and stuff. Whatever it's worth, like, I do like the whole kind of, like, fuck you haters kind of thing. So she, like, raps about that a lot. It's kind of like, fuck you bitches, look what I'm doing now. And it's kind of, like, nice. I like that. But yeah, aside from that, I mean, I'm not, like, defending her, like, whatever. She, like, loves Bernie. She loves Bernie. She, like, hates Trump. She'll call people racist about it. And it sucks. Sometimes I'm kind of like, oh, that sucks. You know? Wish she could be kind of, like, gangster and be like, yeah, fuck yeah, Trump's badass. You know? Yeah, like, I'm not saying she's the best morally, you know.
By the way, the weirdest thing I ever heard was because strippers love Cardi B. And one of the girls at the club once fucking said to me, because I jokingly, like in passing, said something like, oh, you mean the female Bill Cosby? Or something like that. You've never heard somebody get more defensive in their life where she started screaming at me like, so what? We all do that. We all drug dudes and take their money. And I just went, wait.
What?
And I looked at her and went, I look at all of them like, you all drug dudes and take their money? And they were like, no. And she's like, of course. Who hasn't? Who hasn't given guys some pills and then taken all their shit? Who gives a fuck?
God.
And I'm like, you know that's bad, right? Like, you know you probably shouldn't drug people and take their shit. I don't know.
Crazy.
I'm very trad that way. I'm very old school.
Yeah,
I don't want
that's
to
true.
talk over anyone's head over here on my moral high ground.
Yeah, no, I mean, whatever. I mean, we got a $2 donation, so I don't know how much time you want to spend on this.
Little dollar bills.
But little dollar bills, yeah. No, don't mean to donation shame you, but yeah, because the amount, the proportion between the amount, the $2, and the comment, is like, come on, man, because like, we can go on for half an hour about this, and it's a $2 donation. But he says, your thoughts on Netflix Cuties. I don't know about you, Paul, but I watched it, and
I purposely didn't watch it because I don't want the fucking FBI tracking my goddamn Netflix feed, and also I have no interest in watching Netflix Cuties.
Well, my 2 cents is that, aside from the pedo bait, I think it was, what they claim is that it's targeted to audiences that would be me. Women, and, coming of age for a woman story, plus as a dancer, whatever. I understand, I love dance moms, I understand the dance world, like, I get it, I think more than, like, other conservatives would. And so I was like, alright, let me watch it. This is meant for like me. Like, I'll watch, high school stuff, because it's like, I don't know, I'm a girl, like, you can kind of get back into your, like, childhood kind of thing. It's kind of like watching a movie that is just gonna be lighthearted and funny, and you could just have a laugh, and it's like, it's not deep or anything, but it's like college kids, and you're kind of like, too old for that shit, but like, alright, let's get into it. You know what I mean? Like, let's get into it, fuck it, I'll get back into that college mode, let's try this out. So that's kind of what it's meant to be, is like this, remember when you were like this young girl, and like this coming of age kind of thing in the modern times. So anyway, given that, I was like, okay, let's watch it. I know about dance, I think I can judge this pretty well. And it makes you sick throughout the whole movie, and I was definitely trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. Every single scene, every single shot revolved around sex. It was very graphic, a lot of it was like very focused on certain areas of the body parts and things.
That's my logic. Why should I make myself mad in my own home? That's how
so the point of the movie is like one of those movies that just keeps getting more and more disturbing throughout. It's kind of like Kids, like how the movie Kids just makes you feel like, oh, fuck.
Kids had a point.
Right. So I'm not comparing it to Kids, like, complete, because that was, like, a good movie. This, like, wasn't even really a good movie. It wasn't nuanced at all. It was just, like, 11-year-olds, like, obsessing about sex for, like, 2 hours. And, I mean, there are shots in there that is, like, so graphic, like, even things that was, like, the grandmother and the mother, like, Muslim, trying to, like, expel the whore demon out of her. No, exorcise. They were trying to exorcise the whore demon out of her.
No, they weren't Muslim, Martina. They were conservative, according to Netflix's
Right.
Well, conservative family that she had.
Well, the exercising works, but but even that scene, which is supposed to be like exorcising the fucking whore out of her, they made it sexual because the first like shot into that scene was like a cut to, and then it's just like this girl just like wet with like this like squirting action at her, and then they like start slowly panning out, and you see it's like the mom and the grandmother like doing that. And it's like, did you have to make it, like, really sexual? Like, even that? You know what I mean? I was like, it kind of came across really sexual to me. And then she starts twerking, and, like, the whole, like, demon, like, exercising thing is, like, happening. And it's like, okay, it's a bit much. And then, so, yeah, it makes you sick throughout, and you're just kind of like, fucking hell, what are these decisions? I mean, there's moments where she pulled down her pants and took a picture of her vagina and posted it to Instagram.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it's kind of like really fucked up. But in the end, it was meant to make you feel sick, and she ends up putting on her normal clothes, not her whore clothes, and kind of coming to and like exercising the demon worked, and she just is like more like moderate and like normal now, like little girl like playing like jump rope like with the girls on the street instead of like twerking with the other whores,
So uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I think that like they could have made that point a lot more artistically without obsessing every single scene about sex and having the graphic shots that they had.
If only we could ask a professional filmmaker how they did. Wait! I'm right here! They did not try to make a fucking point. They tacked it on at the end because they knew they were in fucking trouble. At some point, they knew, like, okay,
dude, they probably shot that scene, like, they probably shot that scene, like, a few days ago, or, like, last week, you know, like, before it aired, and was like, okay, let's get this shot real quick. Just come down the stairs and go outside in your jeans and play hopscotch.
Well, here's the thing. I understand fully that movies are not reality. However, you literally took an actual underage girl and put her in these situations, which is fucking gross.
Yeah.
One. Two, it's like the Johnny Cash song, fucking early one morning while making the rounds, I did a shot of cocaine and I shot my woman down. And he talks about how he's killing and shooting and doing all this stuff. And then at the end, he just goes, the lesson is, so listen to me, put down that whiskey and let that cocaine be. And it's like, you just sang for 4 minutes about you doing cocaine and shooting women and being an outlaw and all this other shit. You tacked it on the end, Johnny, to give us a little fucking lesson. That's exactly what they did with that fucking, that's what they did with that fucking movie. Because they realized, like, well, we want to shoot a movie that's basically just 11-year-olds twerking and touching themselves for hours. But they're not just going to let us do that, are they? So we have to tack on a little thing like, and the lesson is she's also a normal girl at the end, and she has a little childhood, and we're going to spend, can we spend 2 minutes of screen time on that? Maybe 1.5. 1.5 minutes of screen time.
I don't even think it was that long.
The most disturbing thing is, I kept thinking this, I'm like, because I think like a filmmaker. I've never had an idea that you don't have to pass through multiple people, including your own, when you're freelancing. I have to convince other people my idea is a good idea and they should do my idea with me. He got millions of dollars of funding for this, which means that he had to clear it with multiple people, financial people, production people, producers, all sorts of people at the company, people at Netflix, who all just went, yeah, that sounds fine. What's wrong with that? Which, to me, that's fucking insane. And by the way, I wasn't involved in this, but I had a talent agent for a minute in time when I was very young, like in my early 20s. And for whatever reason, my talent agent also managed like underage beauty pageant girls. And that to me was shocking. If you want to talk about a weird Scientology cult, like this shit is like, to see all these poor girls stuffed into outfits to look sexy. It's like,
no, it's not meant to look sexy. So I never really did pageants or anything growing up, but I do like pageantry, and it's meant for women, moms and girls, and it's meant for like kind of young ladies to, it helps them improve on like grace and like how to walk like a lady, how to talk in front of an audience, how to present a skill. Like these are like the things it's meant to do. However, like most things, like everything, it can get corrupt. So then you have the egos of fucking crazy, moms and daughters, and they start taking it to another level where it starts turning it into something negative. But I think the genuine aspect of it, and also, so again with the Cuties thing, so there's stuff where it's like you can watch a movie where it like makes you ill, but like if it's like AIDS or drugs or whatever, that makes most people feel like, ugh, that makes me kind of sick. But this Cuties thing, it makes most people go, oh wow, that makes me feel really sick. But it makes a certain percentage of a population go, oh, that's kind of hot. And like that's the danger of it. You know what I mean? It's like, why do you even put that out there?
Thing a while ago, They caught this on YouTube, that mothers were posting pictures of, like, there was a hashtag, like, baby bath time or something, and it was literally people, like, bathing their kids, and you would look and it would have 20 million views or something like that, and it's like, yeah, why is this, like, 5-minute video of, like, a child with a ducky in a bathtub? And it's because pedos knew, this is code, and they would get in on that. Cuties to me is a more mainstream and perhaps even more subtle than that way of doing that, and being like, hey, we could sneak all this stuff in the same way, like, maybe Tarantino's a bad example, but like a violent movie where the end of the movie is like...
No, like how Tarantino sneaks in foot stuff.
Well, no, but I'm saying like a Bruce Lee movie or something like that, where his whole thing, or Jackie Chan is a better example, who gets in fights for the dumbest fucking reasons, but his whole thing is, I don't want to fight, I know how to fight, but I am peaceful, and Bruce Lee does the same thing, like, I just want to go about my business, and everyone's attacking him the whole movie, he beats the shit out of everyone, but the lesson is supposed to be, I'm really a peaceful guy who just wants to be left alone, which is good, but in the meantime I saw all this violence, but Bruce Lee's a martial artist, he's an adult, whatever. I could watch that and be like, whoa, that was a cool kick, or wow, look at that punch he did, or whatever. And that guy got fucked up, but he didn't really get fucked up, so I can appreciate it. There's no way, there's no CGI on the fucking planet that could make a girl looking like she's touching herself when she's fucking 11, but it's not really her. It's like, there was a director on set with multiple people, with lights, cameras, with measuring tape. There was somebody brewing coffee that morning to put at the concession, to put at craft services, to be like, oh yeah, this girl in this scene, by the way, is going to pretend to be dancing and playing with herself.
Well, the thing is, I'm telling you, every single scene, except for that last, like, few seconds, is about sex. Okay, maybe also when the grandma teaches her how to, like, be a woman. Oh, she gets, like... There's also a part where, like, she gets her period. There's, like, a weird blood scene. And then, like, she shows the grandmother, and the grandmother goes, oh, you're a woman now. And she says, in my day, she, like, got all dressed in white. They put her all in white to go get married when she was, like, a little girl. And, like, underage. Obviously, like, when you get your period around, like, really young, prepubescent. And, and they, like... She bled on the white, and then they covered her, and then they, like, presented her to, like, the family and the man and stuff like that. So it was kind of showing, like, Islam in a really extreme way. Also, like, the father wasn't really in the picture because he was off, like, the whole time in the movie, like, the father's, like, getting married to, like, some other woman, and because it's, like, polygamy shit. And it's like, so there was like the second bride coming into the house that they were preparing for and stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah, so there's a lot of
Did they say anything bad about any of that?
I mean, I think they portray that's why she went to the extreme to kind of, and then they show scenes in the mosque of them praying, and then there's a scene of her, like, covering herself with the headscarf thing, and then, like, listening to headphones and watching, like, ghetto-ass, like, Cardi B, like, wop shit, like, in the fucking mosque, like, while everyone's, like, praying. And,
it's shocking.
Yeah. What else? Okay, there's a genuine decent scene with the grandmother teaching her to get ready for the wedding, where she's, like, preparing the food, and, like, you have to chop 1,000,000 onions, and, do this, and do, like, the old school immigrant kind of grandma shit that she was doing with the little girl, so, yeah.
Well, so from what you're saying to me, it almost sounds like it's the movie Showgirls, but with underage kids. And I'm shocked because from what I've heard, it's won awards. And I was actually thinking of the movie Kids because I'm like, the point of that movie and why it was unique was, okay, for one thing, most of the actors, I believe, were adults in that anyway, who looked younger, but, like, there's violence in the movie that's shocking, that underage kids are doing this, there's sex, they're getting AIDS, they're doing drugs, they're doing this, and it's supposed to be like, this is what your kids get into. And it's a very clear point of, like, even though they're underage, look all the crazy stuff that they have to deal with. This movie literally sounds like it's fucking Showgirls, but, like, with...
No, I think Showgirls is way more aesthetic. This was, like, just, like, oh, why? No. Like, even the dancing was meant to be cringe. Like, it was meant to be, like, shocking, And, like, I'm a dancer, and I love, like, dance movies. Like, I love Dance Moms. I love, like, that kind of stuff. Anything where they do a performance. And when the performance happens, like, it's not even good. It's just, like, them literally trying to be, like, sexy, and it's, like, awkward. And you're just kind of like, it's not even good. You're like, oh, my God. Showgirls was really, like, cool. But this is just, like, bad. And the aesthetics was just, like, tacky. Like, let's look like
sounds like it's
sluts.
Just smut.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's rough. It's, like I said, it's rough that it got greenlit. It's rough that multiple people just thought to themselves, yeah, it's okay. Well, she's 11, and there's going to be lots of shots of her in tights with her ass and, doing twerking moves. Like, yeah, well, we can do that, right? Oh, she's coming of age. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, coming of age. Sure. Yeah, can we get the shot right up her crotch again? Like, oh, we could get that shot all day.
Yeah.
It's like, and what mother lets their kid do that? Which, that's the other thing. It's like, I don't think I'd ever let my kids fucking act.
Yeah.
It's like, wait till you're fucking 18. Like, you don't need to fucking be dragged around to auditions and judged and be called too fat or too whatever when you're that young. And but there are, I mean, you saw the Borat movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they the Bruno movie, where they had like auditions for like 2-year-olds, and he's like, "Can she lose 10 pounds?" And people are like, yeah. He's like, "How do they feel about razor blades? Could they play with razor blades?" Like, sure, whatever it takes. Yeah, we'll do that. It's like, are you willing to give her liposuction? And it's like, sure. And it's like, those people do exist.
Yep.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. Anything, for fame. So, okay, we have Wesley gave the $5. Hey,
Dollar
Wesley.
dollar bills,
bills. Big Wig gave $5 and he says thanks.
Dollar bills, y'all.
And Barb Rogers, Little Miss Sunburn, donated $2 through Super Chat, and she said, "Giver." Oh, yeah.
Giver. Oh, giver is a Canadian term that basically means get her done.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Wow.
There you go. Hey, whoever gives, if anyone gives $100, I will take my top off. And if you give $200, I will keep it on. Let the bidding war begin.
Otherwise, we're getting out of here. It's 3 a.m.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to have to wrap up, right?
Yep.
I should be way more tired than I am.
I know, me too, but yeah, we'll wrap
so what
it up.
did we learn today, Martina?
We learned how to, think about booking girls, to consider teeth. And
consider teeth, and if your breasts don't look like 2 empty pizza slices that need to be stuffed into a contraption to even look human. Perhaps if you're not, if everywhere you go people don't look at you like you look amazing, perhaps you don't belong in the beauty industry. Perhaps. I don't know. We learned about Native Americans.
It's true.
We did. We learned all about American Indians, who we love and appreciate. And many of them, by the way, are amazing soldiers and extremely proud of serving the country, which I think is great. We learned Cuties. Skip it. How about that? That's my advice to Cuties. Without seeing the movie, and I know this is taboo, it's like, how could you review a movie without seeing it? Skip the fucking movie. I'm good. Martina saw it. She's a girl, so it's slightly better than me seeing it. Because if I went, fuck it, Martina, we're talking about Cuties, I watched the whole thing in the dark by myself, you'd be like, huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's good to discuss it with men, but, like, be someone that has seen it, and it's not like, why the fuck did you watch it? It's like, they say it was meant for me, okay? They say this is my movie, so I'm watching it. If
Nazis had my parents, I don't think I could sit through fucking Cuties. It's a rough fucking one.
All right, let's get out of here. Good night, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, everyone's awesome.
You could follow me on Parler.
All right, let me give you the floor.
What?
Hold on, let me give you the floor and give you your own screen. Hold on 1 second. Where am I? Interview. There you go. Okay, boom. Promote your shit. There you go, Paul.
Okay, yeah, follow me on Parler. Paul Bazile, that's Paul with a W, so PAWLBAZILE. You could also follow me on Instagram, spelled the same way, PAWLBAZILE.
Do you want to drop a link in the chat for them? It makes it easier so they can just click.
Go ahead, yeah. Well, I'm not in the chat. I'm just looking at you on Skype.
Oh my god. Okay, so let me do Parler, and I'll find you, and I'll add it to the chat.
I was afraid. You could also check me out on YouTube, and I write every day for censored.tv. That's Gavin McInnes' site. So if you want to read the news, you're probably reading my articles. They don't put my name on it because that's a good question. I'm not sure why. But you can check that out. Also, there's a charity donation that I'm heading. So everybody, we need your dick pics. If you could go to lauraloomer.us and go to the contact button and just send dick pics all day. It's for needy people. All kinds of dicks. Diseased dicks are preferred. Big dicks, little dicks, impotent dicks, soft dicks, hard dicks, hairy dicks. If you could just go to lauraloomer.us and send as many dicks as possible into that inbox, they will send you back, I don't know, she might give you some of that donation money she stole. I'm not sure. I'm not a scientist. But, you know, I think it's for a good cause at the end of the day.
Okay. Okay, sounds good.
Was this good, or were we too 2016?
No, I think you know, that was necessary. It was necessary. You can add anything else you'd like to the end of that before I click on the outro. So.
I don't know. Check out fucking Living the American Nightmare. I don't fucking know.
No. I was thinking about the Loomer website, but that's okay. That's okay.
Okay. I went back to my real plugs.
Right.
But if you do send dick pics to lauraloomer.us, I mean, I think she'll send you back a personal thank you note. I hope she will anyway. You know.
Well, do you have anything else that people should maybe look into?
Regards to Laura Loomer?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you look into, I don't know, there's a great video called Laura Loomer's Dirty Bloomers online. You could look into the Tiregate controversy, and you could also look into the fact that this woman who has many ads about how incredibly Jewish she is, and I love Jewish people, and there's Jewish people in my family, might not be Jewish. And I think that would be shocking to some people to find out, because it would almost be like she's doing a weird...
It would almost be like, it would be like Meshuggah or something.
It would be Meshuggah, and it would make you want to plutz. So check that out, you know, because I know all you people out there like real journalism. And, you know, why don't you look up some of the articles that she's written? I mean, I know it's real far-fetched to really like conspiracy theories, but there's no conspiracy theories with Laura. There's only her talking about how the CIA totally controlled the Vegas shooting. There's her talking about how the Parkland people who were victims were mostly just survivors, and all the most horrible things you can imagine. Check it out. Make your own conclusions and see for yourself, because I've heard that she might be a bit of a fraud. I would like that to be looked into. Maybe the people at Barry University, a place that I'm told by her she got a 4.0 at, yet her major doesn't seem to exist at Barry University. I don't know. I'm one of those weird journalists who have questions. So, check it out. Follow me on Parler. Paul Bazile, Pawlbazile. Send your final donations right now. It's your last chance to make me and Martina very happy.
Yeah, make up for getting the flu and losing work today. Thank you guys so much. You're the best. See you later. Bye. We'll get back to art history till like tomorrow or some shit. Bye.
Peace out.